Luke 1:1 Forasmuch as many have taken in hand to set forth the story of those things, whereof we are fully persuaded, 2 as they have delivered them unto us, which from the beginning saw them theirselves, and were ministers of the word. 3 It seemed good also to me, most noble Theophilus, as soon as I had searched out perfectly all things from the beginning, to write unto thee thereof from point to point, for that thou mightest acknowledge the certainty of those things, whereof thou hast been instructed. 5 In the time of Herod king of Judea, there was a certain priest named Zacharias, of the course of Abia, and his wife was of the daughters of Aaron, and her name was Elizabeth. 6 Both were just before God, and walked in all the commandments and ordinances of the Lord, without reproof. 7 And they had no child, because Elizabeth was barren, and both were well stricken in age. 8 And it came to pass, as he executed the priest's office before God, as his course came in order. 9 According to the custom of the priest's office, his lot was to burn incense when he went into the temple of the Lord. 10 And the whole multitude of the people were without in prayer, while the incense was burning. 11 Then appeared unto him an angel of the Lord, standing at the right side of the altar of incense. 12 And when Zacharias saw him, he was troubled, and fear fell upon him. 13 But the angel said unto him, Fear not, Zacharias, for thy prayer is heard, and thy wife Elizabeth shall bear thee a son, and thou shalt call his name John. 14 And thou shalt have joy and gladness, and many shall rejoice at his birth. 15 For he shall be great in the sight of the Lord, and shall neither drink wine, nor strong drink, and he shall be filled with the Holy Ghost, even from his mother's womb. 16 And many of the children of Israel shall he turn to their Lord God. 17 For he shall go before him in the spirit and power of Elijah, to turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the disobedient to the wisdom of the just men, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. 18 Then Zacharias said unto the angel, Whereby shall I know this? For I am an old man, and my wife is of a great age. 19 And the angel answered, and said unto him, I am Gabriel that stand in the presence of God, and am sent to speak unto thee, and to show thee these good tidings. 20 And behold, thou shalt be dumb, and not be able to speak, until the day that these things be done, because thou believedst not my words, which shall be fulfilled in their season. 21 Now the people waited for Zacharias, and marveled that he tarried so long in the temple. 22 And when he came out, he could not speak unto them. Then they perceived that he had seen a vision in the temple, for he made signs unto them, and remained dumb. 23 And it came to pass, when the days of his office were fulfilled, that he departed to his own house. 24 And after those days, his wife Elizabeth conceived, and hid herself 5 months, saying, 25 Thus hath the Lord dealt with me, in the days wherein he looked on me, to take from me my rebuke among men. 26 Pilcro And in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God unto a city of Galilee, named Nazareth. 27 To a virgin affianced to a man whose name was Joseph, of the house of David. And the virgin's name was Mary. 28 And the angel went in unto her, and said, Hail thou that art freely beloved! The Lord is with thee, blessed art thou among women. 29 And when she saw him, she was troubled at his saying, and thought what manner of salutation that should be. 30 Then the angel said unto her, Fear not, Mary, for thou hast found favor with God. 31 For lo, thou shalt conceive in thy womb, and bear a son, and shalt call his name Jesus. 32 He shall be great, and shall be called the Son of the Most High, and the Lord God shall give unto him the throne of his father David. 33 And he shall reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom shall be no end. 34 Then said Mary unto the angel, How shall this be, seeing I know not a man? 35 And the angel answered, and said unto her, The Holy Ghost shall come upon thee, and the power of the Most High shall overshadow thee, therefore also that holy thing which shall be born of thee, shall be called the Son of God. 36 And behold, thy cousin, Elizabeth, she hath also conceived a son in her old age, and this is her 6th month, which was called barren. 37 For with God shall nothing be impossible. 38 Then Mary said, Behold the servant of the Lord, be it unto me according to thy word. So the angel departed from her. 39 Pilcro and Mary arose in those days, and went into the hill country with haste to a city of Judah. 40 And entered into the house of Zacharias, and saluted Elizabeth. 41 And it came to pass, as Elizabeth heard the salutation of Mary, the babe sprang in her belly, and Elizabeth was filled with the Holy Ghost. 42 And she cried with a loud voice, and said, Blessed art thou among women, because the fruit of thy womb is blessed. 43 And whence cometh this to me, that the mother of my Lord should come to me? 44 For lo, as soon as the voice of thy salutation sounded in my ears, the babe sprang in my belly for joy. 45 And blessed is she that believed, for those things shall be performed, which were told her from the Lord. 46 Then Mary said, My soul magnifieth the Lord. 47 And my spirit rejoiceth in God my Saviour. 48 For he hath looked on the poor degree of his servant, for behold, from henceforth shall all ages call me blessed. 49 Because he that is mighty hath done for me great things, and holy is his name. 50 And his mercy is from generation to generation on them that fear him. 51 He hath showed strength with his arm, he hath scattered the proud in the imagination of their hearts. 52 He hath put down the mighty from their seats, and exalted them of low degree. 53 He hath filled the hungry with good things, and sent away the rich empty. 54 He hath upholden Israel his servant to be mindful of his mercy. 55 As he hath spoken to our fathers, to wit, to Abraham, and his seed, forever. 56 Pilcro and Mary abode with her about 3 months, after, she returned to her own house. 57 Pilcro Now Elizabeth's time was fulfilled, that she should be delivered, and she brought forth a son. 58 And her neighbors, and cousins heard tell how the Lord had showed his great mercy upon her, and they rejoiced with her. 59 And it was so that on the 8th day they came to circumcise the babe, and called him Zacharias after the name of his father. 60 But his mother answered, and said, Not so, but he shall be called John. 61 And they said unto her, There is none of thy kindred that is named with this name. 62 Then they made signs to his father, how he would have him called. 63 So he asked for writing tablets, and wrote, saying, His name is John, and they all marveled. 64 And his mouth was opened immediately, and his tongue loosed, and he spake, and praised God. 65 Then fear came on all them that dwelt near unto them, and all these words were noised abroad throughout all the hill country of Judea. 66 And all they that heard them, laid them up in their hearts, saying, What man or child shall this be? And the hand of the Lord was with him. 67 Then his father Zacharias was filled with the Holy Ghost, and prophesied, saying, 68 Blessed be the Lord God of Israel, because he hath visited and redeemed his people. 69 And hath raised up the horn of salvation unto us, in the house of his servant David. 70 As he spake by the mouth of his holy prophets, which were since the world began, saying, 71 That he would send us deliverance from our enemies, and from the hands of all that hate us. 72 That he might show mercy towards our fathers, and remember his holy covenant. 73 And the oath, which he sware to our father Abraham. 74 Which was, that he would grant unto us, that we being delivered out of the hands of our enemies, should serve him without fear. 75 All the days of our life, in holiness and righteousness before him. 76 And thou, babe, shalt be called the prophet of the Most High, for thou shalt go before the face of the Lord, to prepare his ways. 77 And to give knowledge of salvation unto his people, by the remission of their sins. 78 Through the tender mercy of our God, whereby the dayspring from on high hath visited us. 79 To give light to them that sit in darkness, and in the shadow of death, and to guide our feet into the way of peace. 80 And the child grew, and waxed strong in spirit, and was in the wilderness, till the day came that he should show himself unto Israel. Luke 2:1 And it came to pass in those days, that there came a decree from Augustus Caesar, that all the world should be taxed. 2. This first taxing was made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria. 3. Therefore went all to be taxed, every man to his own city. 4. And Joseph also went up from Galilee out of a city called Nazareth, into Judea, unto the city of David, which is called Bethlehem, because he was of the house and lineage of David. 5. To be taxed with Mary that was given him to wife, which was with child. 6. Pilgro And so it was, that while they were there, the days were accomplished that she should be delivered. 7. And she brought forth her first begotten son, and wrapped him in swaddling clothes, and laid him in a creche, because there was no room for them in the inn. 8. Pilgro And there were in the same country shepherds, abiding in the field, and keeping watch by night over their flock. 9. And lo, the angel of the Lord came upon them, and the glory of the Lord shone about them, and they were sore afraid. 10. Then the angel said unto them, Be not afraid, for behold, I bring you glad tidings of great joy, that shall be to all the people. 11. That is, that unto you is born this day in the city of David, a Saviour, which is Christ the Lord. 12. And this shall be a sign unto you, ye shall find the babe swaddled, and laid in a creche. 13. And straightway there was with the angel a multitude of heavenly soldiers, praising God, and saying, 14. Glory be to God in the high heavens, and peace in earth, and towards men good will. 15. And it came to pass when the angels were gone away from them into heaven, that the shepherds said one to another, Let us go then unto Bethlehem, and see this thing that is come to pass, which the Lord hath showed unto us. 16. So they came with haste, and found both Mary and Joseph and the babe laid in the creche. 17. And when they had seen it, they published abroad the thing which was told them of that child. 18. And all that heard it, wondered at the things which were told them of the shepherds. 19. But Mary kept all those sayings, and pondered them in her heart. 20. And the shepherds returned glorifying and praising God, for all that they had heard and seen, as it was spoken unto them. 21. Pilgro And when the 8 days were accomplished, that they should circumcise the child, his name was then called Jesus, which was named of the angel, before he was conceived in the womb. 22. And when the days of her purification, after the law of Moses, were accomplished, they brought him to Jerusalem, to present him to the Lord. 23. As it is written in the law of the Lord, every man-child that first openeth the womb, shall be called holy to the Lord. 24. And to give an oblation, as it is commanded in the law of the Lord, a pair of turtle doves, or 2 young pigeons. 25. And behold, there was a man in Jerusalem, whose name was Simeon. This man was just, and feared God, and waited for the consolation of Israel, and the Holy Ghost was upon him. 26. And it was declared to him from God by the Holy Ghost, that he should not see death, before he had seen the Lord's Christ. 27 And he came by the motion of the Spirit into the temple, and when the parents brought in the child Jesus, to do for him after the custom of the law, 28 Then he took him in his arms, and praised God, and said, 29 Lord, now lettest thou thy servant depart in peace, according to thy word, 30 For mine eyes have seen thy salvation, 31 Which thou hast prepared before the face of all people. 32 A light to be revealed to the Gentiles, and the glory of thy people Israel. 33 And Joseph and his mother marveled at those things, which were spoken touching him. 34 And Simeon blessed them, and said unto Mary his mother, Behold, this child is appointed for the fall and rising again of many in Israel, and for a sign which shall be spoken against. 35 Yea, and a sword shall pierce through thy soul, that the thoughts of many hearts may be opened. 36 And there was a prophetess, one Anna the daughter of Phanuel, of the tribe of Aser, which was of a great age, and had lived with a husband 7 years from her virginity. 37 And she was widow about 64 years, and went not out of the temple, but served God with fastings and prayers night and day. 38 She then coming at the same instant upon them, confessed likewise the Lord, and spake of him to all that looked for redemption in Jerusalem. 39 And when they had performed all things, according to the law of the Lord, they returned into Galilee to their own city Nazareth. 40 And the child grew, and waxed strong in spirit, and was filled with wisdom, and the grace of God was with him. 41 Pilgrim Now his parents went to Jerusalem every year, at the feast of the Passover. 42 And when he was 12 years old, and they were come up to Jerusalem after the custom of the feast, 43 And had finished the days thereof, as they returned, the child Jesus remained in Jerusalem, and Joseph knew not, nor his mother. 44 But they supposing that he had been in the company, went a day's journey, and sought him among their kinsfolk and acquaintances. 45 And when they found him not, they turned back to Jerusalem, and sought him. 46 And it came to pass 3 days after, that they found him in the temple, sitting in the midst of the doctors, both hearing them, and asking them questions. 47 And all that heard him, were astonished at his understanding and answers. 48 So when they saw him, they were amazed, and his mother said unto him, Son, why hast thou thus dealt with us? Behold, thy father and I have sought thee with very heavy hearts. 49 Then said he unto them, How is it that ye sought me? Knew ye not that I must go about my father's business? 50 But they understood not the word that he spake to them. 51 Then he went down with them, and came to Nazareth, and was subject to them, and his mother kept all these sayings in her heart. 52 And Jesus increased in wisdom, and stature, and in favor with God and men. Luke 3:1 Now in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, Pontius Pilate being governor of Judea, and Herod being tetrarch of Galilee, and his brother Philip tetrarch of Iturea, and of the country of Trachonitis, and Lyanias the tetrarch of Abilene. 2 When Annas and Caiaphas were the high priests, the word of God came unto John, the son of Zacharias in the wilderness. 3 And he came into all the coasts about Jordan, preaching the baptism of repentance for the remission of sins. 4 As it is written in the book of the sayings of Isaiah the prophet, which saith, The voice of him that crieth in the wilderness is, Prepare ye the way of the Lord, make his paths straight. 5 Every valley shall be filled, and every mountain and hill shall be brought low, and crooked things shall be made straight, and the rough ways shall be made smooth. 6 And all flesh shall see the salvation of God. 7 Then said he to the people that were come out to be baptized of him, O generations of vipers, who hath forewarned you to flee from the wrath to come? 8 Bring forth therefore fruits worthy amendment of life, and begin not to say with yourselves, We have Abraham to our father. For I say unto you, that God is able of these stones to raise up children unto Abraham. 9 Now also is the axe laid unto the root of the trees, therefore every tree which bringeth not forth good fruit, shall be hewn down, and cast into the fire. 10 Pilcrow Then the people asked him, saying, What shall we do then? 11 And he answered, and said unto them, He that hath 2 coats, let him part with him that hath none, and he that hath meat, let him do likewise. 12 Then came there publicans also to be baptized, and said unto him, Master, what shall we do? 13 And he said unto them, Require no more than that which is appointed unto you. 14 The soldiers likewise demanded of him, saying, And what shall we do? And he said unto them, Do violence to no man, neither accuse any falsely, and be content with your wages. 15 As the people waited, and all men mused in their hearts of John, if he were not the Christ. 16 John answered, and said to them all, Indeed I baptize you with water, but one stronger than I cometh, whose shoes latchet I am not worthy to unloose. He will baptize you with the Holy Ghost, and with fire. 17 Whose fan is in his hand, and he will make clean his floor, and will gather the wheat into his garner, but the chaff will he burn up with fire that never shall be quenched. 18 Thus then exhorting with many other things, he preached unto the people. 19 But when Herod the Tetrarch was rebuked of him, for Herodias his brother, Philip's wife, and for all the evils which Herod had done, 20 He added yet this above all, that he shut up John in prison. 21 Now it came to pass, as all the people were baptized, and that Jesus was baptized and did pray, that the heaven was opened. 22 And the Holy Ghost came down in a bodily shape like a dove, upon him, and there was a voice from heaven, saying, Thou art my beloved Son, in thee I am well pleased. 23 Pilcrow And Jesus himself began to be about 30 years of age, being as men supposed the son of Joseph, which was the son of Eli. 24 The son of Mathat, the son of Levi, the son of Melchi, the son of Janna, the son of Joseph. 25 The son of Mattathias, the son of Amos, the son of Nahum, the son of Esli, the son of Nag. 26 The son of Math, the son of Mattathias, the son of Samai, the son of Joseph, the son of Judah. 27 The son of Joanna, the son of Ressa, the son of Zorobabel, the son of Salathiel, the son of Neri. 28 The son of Melchi, the son of Atti, the son of Kazem, the son of Elmodam, the son of 29 Pilcrow the son of Hosea, the son of Eliezer, the son of Joram, the son of Mathat, the son of Levi. 30 The son of Simeon, the son of Judah, the son of Joseph, the son of Jonan, the son of Eliakim. 31 The son of Meli, the son of Mainan, the son of Mattatha, the son of Nathan, the son of David. 32 The son of Jesse, the son of Obed, the son of Boaz, the son of Salmon, the son of Naasson. 33 The son of Aminadab, the son of Aram, the son of Esrom, the son of Phares, the son of Judah. 34 The son of Jacob, the son of Isaac, the son of Abraham, the son of Thara, the son of Necher. 35 The son of Saruch, the son of Ragai, the son of Phalek, the son of Eber, the son of Salah. 36 The son of Canaan, the son of Arphaxad, the son of Shem, the son of Noah, the son of Lamech. 37 The son of Methuselah, the son of Enoch, the son of Jared, the son of Mileel, the son of Canaan. 38 The son of Enos, the son of Seth, the son of Adam, the son of God. Luke 4:1 And Jesus full of the Holy Ghost returned from Jordan, and was led by the Spirit into the wilderness, 2 And was there 40 days tempted of the devil, and in those days he did eat nothing, but when they were ended, he afterward was hungry. 3 Then the devil said unto him, If thou be the Son of God, command this stone, that it be made bread. 4 But Jesus answered him, saying, It is written, that man shall not live by bread only, but by every word of God. 5 Then the devil took him up into a high mountain, and showed him all the kingdoms of the world, in the twinkling of an eye. 6 And the devil said unto him, All this power will I give thee, and the glory of those kingdoms, for that is delivered to me, and to whomsoever I will, I give it. 7 If thou therefore wilt worship me, they shall be all thine. 8 But Jesus answered him, and said, Hence from me, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him alone thou shalt serve. 9 Then he brought him to Jerusalem, and set him on a pinnacle of the temple, and said unto him, If thou be the Son of God, cast thyself down from hence. 10 For it is written, that he will give his angels charge over thee to keep thee. 11 And with their hands they shall lift thee up, lest at any time thou shouldest dash thy foot against a stone. 12 And Jesus answered, and said unto him, It is said, Thou shalt not tempt the Lord thy God. 13 And when the devil had ended all the temptation, he departed from him for a little season. 14 Pilgro And Jesus returned by the power of the Spirit into Galilee, and there went a fame of him throughout all the region round about. 15 For he taught in their synagogues, and was honored of all men. 16 And he came to Nazareth where he had been brought up, and, as his custom was, went into the synagogue on the Sabbath day, and stood up to read. 17 And there was delivered unto him the book of the prophet Isaiah. And when he had opened the book, he found the place, where it was written, 18 The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, because he hath anointed me, that I should preach the gospel to the poor. He hath sent me, that I should heal the brokenhearted, that I should preach deliverance to the captives, and recovering of sight to the blind, that I should set at liberty them that are bruised. 19 And that I should preach the acceptable year of the Lord. 20 And he closed the book, and gave it again to the minister, and sat down, and the eyes of all that were in the synagogue were fastened on him. 21 Then he began to say unto them, This day is the scripture fulfilled in your ears. 22 And all bare him witness, and wondered at the gracious words, which proceeded out of his mouth, and said, Is not this Joseph's son? 23 Then he said unto them, Ye will surely say unto me this proverb, Physician, heal thyself. Whatsoever we have heard done in Capernaum, do it here likewise in thy own country. 24 And he said, Verily I say unto you, no prophet is accepted in his own country. 25 But I tell you of a truth, many widows were in Israel in the days of Elijah, when heaven was shut 3 years and 6 months, when great famine was throughout all the land. 26 But unto none of them was Elijah sent, save into Sarepta, a city of Sidon, unto a certain widow. 27 Also many lepers were in Israel, in the time of Elisha the prophet, yet none of them was made clean, saving Naaman the Syrian. 28 Then all that were in the synagogue, when they heard it, were filled with wrath. 29 And rose up, and thrust him out of the city, and led him unto the edge of the hill, whereon their city was built, to cast him down headlong. 30 But he passed through the midst of them, and went his way. 31 Pilgro And came down into Capernaum a city of Galilee, and there taught them on the Sabbath days. 32 And they were astonished at his doctrine, for his word was with authority. 33 And in the synagogue there was a man which had a spirit of an unclean devil, which cried with a loud voice. 34 Saying, O, what have we to do with thee, thou Jesus of Nazareth? Art thou come to destroy us? I know who thou art, even the Holy One of God. 35 And Jesus rebuked him, saying, Hold thy peace, and come out of him. Then the devil throwing him in the midst of them, came out of him, and hurt him not. 36 So fear came on them all, and they spake among themselves, saying, What thing is this? For with authority and power he commandeth the foul spirits, and they come out? 37 And the fame of him spread abroad throughout all the places of the country round about. 38 Pilgro And he rose up, and came out of the synagogue, and entered into Simon's house. and Simon's wife's mother was taken with a great fever, and they required him for her. 39 Then he stood over her, and rebuked the fever, and it left her, and immediately she arose, and ministered unto them. 40 Now at the sun setting, all they that had sick folks of divers diseases, brought them unto him, and he laid his hands on every one of them, and healed them. 41 And devils also came out of many, crying, and saying, Thou art the Christ the Son of God, but he rebuked them, and suffered them not to say that they knew him to be the Christ. 42 And when it was day, he departed, and went forth into a desert place, and the people sought him, and came to him, and kept him that he should not depart from them. 43 But he said unto them, Surely I must also preach the kingdom of God to other cities, for therefore am I sent. 44 And he preached in the synagogues of Galilee. Luke 5:1 Then it came to pass, as the people pressed upon him to hear the word of God, that he stood by the lake of Gennesaret, 2 And saw 2 ships stand by the lakeside, but the fishermen were gone out of them, and were washing their nets. 3 And he entered into one of the ships, which was Simon's, and required him that he would thrust off a little from the land, and he sat down, and taught the people out of the ship. 4 Pilgrim Now when he had left speaking, he said unto Simon, Launch out into the deep, and let down your nets to make a draught. 5 Then Simon answered, and said unto him, Master, we have travailed sore all night, and have taken nothing, nevertheless at thy word I will let down the net. 6 And when they had so done, they enclosed a great multitude of fishes, so that their net brake. 7 And they beckoned to their partners, which were in the other ship, that they should come and help them, who came then, and filled both the ships, that they did sink. 8 Now when Simon Peter saw it, he fell down at Jesus' knees, saying, Lord, go from me, for I am a sinful man. 9 For he was utterly astonished, and all that were with him, for the draught of fishes which they took. 10 And so was also James and John the sons of Zebedee, which were companions with Simon. Then said Jesus said unto Simon, Fear not, from henceforth thou shalt catch men. 11 And when they had brought the ships to land, they forsook all, and followed him. 12 Pilgrim Now it came to pass, as he was in a certain city, behold, there was a man full of leprosy, and when he saw Jesus, he fell on his face, and besought him, saying, Lord, if thou wilt, thou canst make me clean. 13 So he stretched forth his hand, and touched him, saying, I will, be thou clean. And immediately the leprosy departed from him. 14 And he commanded him that he should tell it no man, but go, saith he, and show thyself to the priest, and offer for thy cleansing, as Moses hath commanded, for a witness unto them. 15 But so much more went there a fame abroad of him, and great multitudes came together to hear, and to be healed of him of their infirmities. 16 But he kept himself apart in the wilderness, and prayed. 17 Pilgrim And it came to pass, on a certain day, as he was teaching, that the Pharisees and doctors of the law sat by, which were come out of every town of Galilee, and Judea, and Jerusalem, and the power of the Lord was in him, to heal them. 18 Then behold, men brought a man lying in a bed, which was taken with a palsy, and they sought means to bring him in, and to lay him before him. 19 And when they could not find by what way they might bring him in, because of the press, they went up on the house, and let him down through the tiling, bed and all, in the midst before Jesus. 20 And when he saw their faith, he said unto him, Man, thy sins are forgiven thee. 21 Then the scribes and the Pharisees began to reason, saying, Who is this that speaketh blasphemies? Who can forgive sins, but God only? 22 But when Jesus perceived their thoughts, he answered, and said unto them, What reason ye in your hearts? 23 Whether is easier to say, Thy sins are forgiven thee, or to say, Rise and walk? 24 But that ye may know that the Son of Man hath authority to forgive sins in earth, he said unto the sick of the palsy, I say to thee, Arise, take up thy bed, and go to thy house. 25 And immediately he rose up before them, and took up his bed whereon he lay, and departed to his own house, praising God. 26 And they were all amazed, and praised God, and were filled with fear, saying, Doubtless we have seen strange things today. 27 Pilcrow And after that, he went forth and saw a publican named Levi, sitting at the receipt of custom, and said unto him, Follow me. 28 And he left all, rose up, and followed him. 29 Then Levi made him a great feast in his own house, where there was a great company of publicans, and of others that sat at table with them. 30 But they that were scribes and Pharisees among them, murmured against his disciples, saying, Why eat ye and drink ye with publicans and sinners? 31 Then Jesus answered, and said unto them, They that are whole, need not the physician, but they that are sick. 32 I came not to call the righteous, but sinners to repentance. 33 Then they said unto him, Why do the disciples of John fast often, and pray, and the disciples of the Pharisees also, but thine eat and drink? 34 And he said unto them, Can ye make the children of the wedding chamber to fast, as long as the bridegroom is with them? 35 But the days will come, even when the bridegroom shall be taken away from them, then shall they fast in those days. 36 Again he spake also unto them a parable, No man putteth a piece of a new garment into an old vesture, for then the new renteth it, and the piece taken out of the new, agreeth not with the old. 37 Also no man poureth new wine into old vessels, for then the new wine will break the vessels, and it will run out, and the vessels will perish. 38 But new wine must be poured into new vessels, so both are preserved. 39 Also no man that drinketh old wine, straightway desireth new, for he saith, The old is better. Luke 6:1 And it came to pass on his second Sabbath, after the first, that he went through the cornfields, and his disciples plucked the ears of corn, and did eat, and rubbed them in their hands. 2 And certain of the Pharisees said unto them, Why do ye that which is not lawful to do on the Sabbath days? 3 Then Jesus answered them, and said, Have ye not read this, that David did when he himself was a-hungered, and they which were with him, for how he went into the house of God, and took, and ate the shewbread, and gave also to them which were with him, which was not lawful to eat, but for the priests only. 5 And he said unto them, The Son of Man is Lord also of the Sabbath day. 6 Pilcrow It came to pass also on another Sabbath, that he entered into the synagogue, and taught, and there was a man, whose right hand was dried up. 7 And the scribes and Pharisees watched him, whether he would heal on the Sabbath day, that they might find an accusation against him. 8 But he knew their thoughts, and said to the man which had the withered hand, Arise, and stand up in the midst. And he arose, and stood up. 9 Then said Jesus unto them, I will ask you a question, whether is it lawful on the Sabbath days to do good, or to do evil? To save life, or to destroy? 10 And he beheld them all in compass, and said unto the man, Stretch forth thy hand. And he did so, and his hand was restored again, as whole as the other. 11 Then they were filled full of madness, and communed one with another, what they might do to Jesus. 12 Pilcrow And it came to pass in those days, that he went into a mountain to pray, and spent the night in prayer to God. 13 And when it was day, he called his disciples, and of them he chose 12 which also he called apostles. 14 Simon whom he named also Peter, and Andrew his brother, James and John, Philip and Bartholomew. 15 Matthew and Thomas, James the son of Alphaeus, and Simon called Zealous. 16 Judas James' brother, and Judas Iscariot, which also was the traitor. 17 Then he came down with them, and stood in a plain place, with the company of his disciples, and a great multitude of people out of all Judea, and Jerusalem, and from the sea coast of Tyre and Sidon, which came to hear him, and to be healed of their diseases. 18 And they that were vexed with foul spirits, and they were healed. 19 And the whole multitude sought to touch him, for there went virtue out of him, and healed them all. 20 Pilcrow And he lifted up his eyes upon his disciples, and said, Blessed be ye poor, for yours is the kingdom of God. 21 Blessed are ye that hunger now, for ye shall be satisfied. Blessed are ye that weep now, for ye shall laugh. 22 Blessed are ye when men hate you, and when they separate you, and revile you, and put out your name as evil, for the Son of Man's sake. 23 Rejoice ye in that day, and be glad, for behold, your reward is great in heaven, for after this manner their fathers did to the prophets. 24 But woe be to you that are rich, for ye have received your consolation. 25 Woe be to you that are full, for ye shall hunger. Woe be to you that now laugh, for ye shall wail and weep. 26 Woe be to you when all men speak well of you, for so did their fathers to the false prophets. 27 Pilcrow But I say unto you which hear, love your enemies, do well to them which hate you. 28 Bless them that curse you, and pray for them which hurt you. 29 And unto him that smiteth thee on the one cheek, offer also the other, and him that taketh away thy cloak, forbid not to take thy coat also. 30 Give to every man that asketh of thee, and of him that taketh away the things that be thine, ask them not again. 31 And as ye would that men should do to you, so do ye to them likewise. 32 For if ye love them which love you, what thank shall ye have? For even the sinners love those that love them. 33 And if ye do good for them which do good for you, what thank shall ye have? For even the sinners do the same. 34 And if ye lend to them of whom ye hope to receive, what thank shall ye have? For even the sinners lend to sinners, to receive the like. 35 Wherefore love ye your enemies, and do good, and lend, looking for nothing again, and your reward shall be great, and ye shall be the children of the Most High, for he is kind unto the unkind, and to the evil. 36 Be ye therefore merciful, as your Father also is merciful. 37 Pilcrow Judge not, and ye shall not be judged, condemn not, and ye shall not be condemned, forgive, and ye shall be forgiven. 38 Give, and it shall be given unto you, a good measure, pressed down, shaken together and running over shall men give into your bosom, for with what measure ye mete, with the same shall men mete to you again. 39 And he spake a parable unto them, Can the blind lead the blind? Shall they not both fall into the ditch? 40 The disciple is not above his master, but whosoever will be a perfect disciple, shall be as his master. 41 Pilcrow And why seest thou a mote in thy brother's eye, and considerest not the beam that is in thine own eye? 42 Either how canst thou say to thy brother, Brother, let me pull out the mote that is in thine eye, when thou seest not the beam that is in thine own eye? Hypocrite, cast out the beam out of thine own eye first, and then shalt thou see perfectly to pull out the mote that is in thy brother's eye. 43 Pilcrow For it is not a good tree that bringeth forth the evil fruit, neither an evil tree, that bringeth forth good fruit. 44 For every tree is known by his own fruit, for neither of thorns gather men figs, nor of bushes gather they grapes. 45 A good man out of the good treasure of his heart bringeth forth good, and an evil man out of the evil treasure of his heart bringeth forth evil, for of the abundance of the heart his mouth speaketh. 46 Pilcrow But why call ye me Lord, Lord, and do not the things that I speak? 47 Whosoever cometh to me, and heareth my words, and doeth the same, I will show you to whom he is like. 48 He is like a man which built a house, and dug deep, and laid the foundation on a rock, and when the waters arose, the flood beat upon that house, and could not shake it, for it was grounded upon a rock. 49 But he that heareth and doeth not, is like a man that built a house upon the earth without foundation, against which the flood did beat, and it fell by and by, and the fall of that house was great. Luke 7:1 When he had ended all his sayings in the audience of the people, he entered into Capernaum. 2 And a certain centurion's servant was sick and ready to die, which was dear unto him. 3 And when he heard of Jesus, he sent unto him the elders of the Jews, beseeching him that he would come, and heal his servant. 4 So they came to Jesus, and besought him instantly, saying that he was worthy that he should do this for him. 5 For he loveth, said they, our nation, and he hath built us a synagogue. 6 Then Jesus went with them, but when he was now not far from the house, the centurion sent friends to him, saying unto him, Lord, trouble not thyself, for I'm not worthy that thou shouldest enter under my roof. 7 Wherefore I thought not myself worthy to come unto thee, but say the word, and my servant shall be whole. 8 For I likewise am a man set under authority, and have under me soldiers, and I say unto one, Go, and he goeth, and to another, Come, and he cometh, and to my servant, Do this, and he doeth it. 9 When Jesus heard these things, he marveled at him, and turned him, and said to the people that followed him, I say unto you, I have not found so great faith, no not in Israel. 10 And when they that were sent turned back to the house, they found the servant that was sick, whole. 11 And it came to pass the day after, that he went into a city called Nain, and many of his disciples went with him, and a great multitude. 12 Now when he came near to the gate of the city, behold, there was a dead man carried out, who was the only begotten son of his mother, which was a widow, and much people of the city was with her. 13 And when the Lord saw her, he had compassion on her, and said unto her, Weep not. 14 And he went and touched the coffin, and they that bare him stood still, and he said, Young man, I say unto thee, arise. 15 And he that was dead sat up, and began to speak, and he delivered him to his mother. 16 And there came a fear on them all, and they glorified God, saying, A great prophet is risen among us, and God hath visited his people. 17 And this rumor of him went forth throughout all Judea, and throughout all the region round about. 18 And the disciples of John showed him of all these things. 19 So John called unto him 2 certain men of his disciples, and sent them to Jesus, saying, Art thou he that should come, or shall we wait for another? 20 And when the men were come unto him, they said, John Baptist hath sent us unto thee, saying, Art thou he that should come, or shall we wait for another? 21 And at that time, he cured many of their sicknesses, and plagues, and of evil spirits, and unto many blind men he gave sight. 22 And Jesus answered, and said unto them, Go your ways and show John, what things ye have seen and heard, that the blind see, the halt go, the lepers are cleansed, the deaf hear, the dead are raised, and the poor receive the gospel. 23 And blessed is he that shall not be offended in me. 24 And when the messengers of John were departed, he began to speak unto the people, of John, What went ye out into the wilderness to see? A reed shaken with the wind? 25 But what went ye out to see? A man clothed in soft raiment? Behold, they which are gorgeously apparelled, and live delicately, are in king's courts. 26 But what went ye forth to see? A prophet? Yea, I say to you, and greater than a prophet. 27 This is he of whom it is written, Behold, I send my messenger before thy face, which shall prepare thy way before thee. 28 For I say unto you, there is no greater prophet than John, among them that are begotten of women, nevertheless, he that is the least in the kingdom of God, is greater than he. 29 Then all the people that heard, and the publicans justified God, being baptized with the baptism of John. 30 But the Pharisees and the expounders of the law despised the counsel of God against themselves, and were not baptized of him. 31 And the Lord said, Whereunto shall I liken the men of this generation? And what thing are they like unto? 32 They are like unto little children sitting in the marketplace, and crying one to another, and saying, We have piped unto you, and ye have not danced, we have mourned to you, and ye have not wept. 33 For John Baptist came, neither eating bread, nor drinking wine, and ye say, He hath the devil. 34 The Son of Man is come, and eateth and drinketh, and ye say, Behold, a man which is a glutton, and a drinker of wine, a friend of publicans and sinners. 35 But wisdom is justified of all her children. 36 Pilgro and one of the Pharisees desired him that he would eat with him, and he went into the Pharisee's house, and sat down at table. 37 And behold, a woman in the city, which was a sinner, when she knew that Jesus sat at table in the Pharisee's house, she brought a box of ointment. 38 And she stood at his feet behind him weeping, and began to wash his feet with tears, and did wipe them with the hairs of her head, and kissed his feet, and anointed them with the ointment. 39 Now when the Pharisee which bade him saw it, he spake within himself, saying, If this man were a prophet, he would surely have known who, and what manner of woman this is which toucheth him, for she is a sinner. 40 And Jesus answered, and said unto him, Simon, I have somewhat to say unto thee. And he said, Master, say on. 41 There was a certain lender which had 2 debtors, the one not 500 pence, and the other 50. 42 When they had nothing to pay, he forgave them both. Which of them therefore, tell me, will love him most? 43 Simon answered, and said, I suppose that he to whom he forgave most. And he said unto him, Thou hast truly judged. 44 Then he turned to the woman, and said unto Simon, Seest thou this woman? I entered into thy house, and thou gavest me no water to my feet, but she hath washed my feet with tears, and wiped them with the hairs of her head. 45 Thou gavest me no kiss, but she, since the time I came in, hath not ceased to kiss my feet. 46 My head with oil thou didst not anoint, but she hath anointed my feet with ointment. 47 Wherefore I say unto thee, many sins are forgiven her, for she loved much. To whom a little is forgiven, he doeth love a little. 48 And he said unto her, Thy sins are forgiven thee. 49 And they that sat at table with him, began to say within themselves, Who is this that even forgiveth sins? 50 And he said to the woman, Thy faith hath saved thee, go in peace. Luke 8:1 And it came to pass afterward, that he himself went through every city and town preaching and publishing the kingdom of God, and the 12 were with him, 2 And certain women, which were healed of evil spirits, and infirmities, as Mary which was called Magdalene, out of whom went 7 devils, 3 And Joanna the wife of Chuza Herod's steward, and Susanna, and many others which ministered unto him of their substance. For now when much people were gathered together, and were come unto him out of all cities, he spake by a parable. 5 A sower went out to sow his seed, and as he sowed, some fell by the wayside, and it was trodden under feet, and the fowls of heaven devoured it up. 6 And some fell on the stones, and when it was sprung up, it withered away, because it lacked moistness. 7 And some fell among thorns, and the thorns sprang up with it, and choked it. 8 And some fell on good ground, and sprang up, and bare fruit, 100-fold. And as he said these things, he cried, He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. 9 Then his disciples asked him, demanding what parable that was. 10 And he said, Unto you it is given to know the secrets of the kingdom of God, but to others in parables, that when they see, they should not see, and when they hear, they should not understand. 11 The parable is this, the seed is the word of God. 12 And they that are beside the way, are they that hear, afterward cometh the devil, and taketh away the word out of their hearts, lest they should believe, and be saved. 13 But they that are on the stones, are they which when they have heard, receive the word with joy, but they have no roots, which for a while believe, but in the time of temptation go away. 14 And that which fell among thorns, are they which have heard, and after their departure are choked with cares and with riches, and voluptuous living, and bring forth no fruit. 15 But that which fell in good ground, are they which with an honest and good heart hear the word, and keep it, and bring forth fruit with patience. 16 Pilcrow no man when he hath lighted a candle, covereth it under a vessel, neither putteth it under the bed, but setteth it on a candlestick, that they that enter in, may see the light. 17 For nothing is secret, that shall not be evident, neither anything hid, that shall not be known, and come to light. 18 Take heed therefore how ye hear, for whosoever hath, to him shall be given, and whosoever hath not, from him shall be taken even that which it seemeth that he hath. 19 Pilcrow then came to him his mother and his brethren, and could not come near to him for the press. 20 And it was told him by certain which said, Thy mother and thy brethren stand without, and would see thee. 21 But he answered, and said unto them, My mother and my brethren are these which hear the word of God, and do it. 22 Pilgro And it came to pass on a certain day, that he went into a ship with his disciples, and he said unto them, Let us go over unto the other side of the lake. And they launched forth. 23 And as they sailed, he fell asleep, and there came down a storm of wind on the lake, and they were filled with water, and were in jeopardy. 24 Then they went to him, and awoke him, saying, Master, Master, we perish. And he arose, and rebuked the wind, and the waves of water, and they ceased, and it was calm. 25 Then he said unto them, Where is your faith? And they feared, and wondered among themselves, saying, Who is this that commandeth both the winds and water, and they obey him? 26 Pilgro So they sailed unto the region of the Gadarenes, which is over against Galilee. 27 And as he went out to land, there met him a certain man out of the city, which had devils long time, and he wear no garment, neither abode in house, but in the graves. 28 And when he saw Jesus, he cried out, and fell down before him, and with a loud voice said, What have I to do with thee, Jesus the Son of God the Most High? I beseech thee torment me not. 29 For he commanded the foul spirit to come out of the man, for ofttimes he had caught him, therefore he was bound with chains, and kept in fetters, but he brake the bands, and was carried of the devil into wildernesses. 30 Then said Jesus asked him, saying, What is thy name? And he said, Legion, because many devils were entered into him. 31 And they besought him, that he would not command them to go out into the deep. 32 And there was thereby a herd of many swine feeding on a hill, and the devils besought him, that he would suffer them to enter into them. So he suffered them. 33 Then went the devils out of the man, and entered into the swine, and the herd was carried with violence from a steep down place into the lake, and was choked. 34 When the herdsmen saw what was done, they fled, and when they were departed, they told it in the city and in the country. 35 Then they came out to see what was done, and came to Jesus, and found the man, out of whom the devils were departed, sitting at the feet of Jesus, clothed, and in his right mind, and they were afraid. 36 They also which saw it, told them by what means he that was possessed with the devil, was healed. 37 Then the whole multitude of the country about the Gadarenes, besought him that he would depart from them, for they were taken with a great fear, and he went into the ship, and returned. 38 Then the man, out of whom the devils were departed, besought him that he might be with him, but Jesus sent him away, saying, 39 Return into thy own house, and show what great things God hath done to thee. So he went his way, and preached throughout all the city, what great things Jesus had done unto him. 40 Pilgro And it came to pass, when Jesus was come again, that the people received him, for they all waited for him. 41 Pilgro And behold, there came a man named Jairus, and he was the ruler of the synagogue, who fell down at Jesus' feet, and besought him that he would come into his house. 42 For he had but a daughter only, about 12 years of age, and she lay a-dying, and as he went, the people thronged him. 43 And a woman having an issue of blood, 12 years long, which had spent all her substance upon physicians, and could not be healed of any. 44 When she came behind him, she touched the hem of his garment, and immediately her issue of blood staunched. 45 Then Jesus said, Who is it that hath touched me? When every man denied, Peter said, and they that were with him, Master, the multitude thrust thee, and tread on thee, and sayest thou, Who hath touched me? 46 And Jesus said, Someone hath touched me, for I perceive that virtue is gone out of me. 47 When the woman saw that she was not hid, she came trembling, and fell down before him, and told him before all the people, for what cause she had touched him, and how she was healed immediately. 48 And he said unto her, Daughter, be of good comfort, thy faith hath made thee whole, go in peace. 49 While he yet spake, there came one from the ruler of the synagogue's house, which said to him, "Thy daughter is dead, disease not the master." 50 When Jesus heard it, he answered him, saying, "Fear not, believe only, and she shall be made whole." 51 And when he went into the house, he suffered no man to go in with him, save Peter, and James, and John, and the father and mother of the maid. 52 And all wept, and sorrowed for her, but he said, "Weep not, for she is not dead, but sleepeth." 53 And they laughed him to scorn, knowing that she was dead. 54 So he thrust them all out, and took her by the hand, and cried, saying, "Maid, arise." 55 And her spirit came again, and she rose straightway, and he commanded to give her meat. 56 Then her parents were astonished, but he commanded them that they should tell no man what was done. Luke 9:1 Then called he his 12 disciples together, and gave them power and authority over all devils, and to heal diseases. 2 And he sent them to preach the kingdom of God, and to cure the sick. 3 And he said to them, Take nothing to your journey, neither staves, nor scrip, neither bread, nor silver, neither have 2 coats apiece. 4 And whatsoever house ye enter into, there abide, and thence depart. 5 And whosoever will not receive you, when ye go out of that city, shake off the very dust from your feet for a testimony against them. 6 And they went out, and went through every town preaching the gospel, and healing everywhere. 7 Pilcro Now Herod the Tetrarch heard of all that was done by him, and he doubted, because that it was said of some, that John was risen again from the dead. 8 And of some, that Elijah had appeared, and of some, that one of the old prophets was risen again. 9 Then Herod said, John have I beheaded, who then is this of whom I hear such things? And he desired to see him. 10 Pilcro And when the apostles returned, they told him what great things they had done. Then he took them to him, and went aside into a solitary place, near to the city called Bethsaida. 11 But when the people knew it, they followed him, and he received them, and spake unto them of the kingdom of God, and healed them that had need to be healed. 12 And when the day began to wear away, the 12 came, and said unto him, Send the people away, that they may go into the towns and villages round about, and lodge, and get meat, for we are here in a desert place. 13 But he said unto them, Give ye them to eat. And they said, We have no more but 5 loaves and 2 fishes, except we should go and buy meat for all this people. 14 For they were about 5,000 men. Then he said to his disciples, Cause them to sit down by 50s in a company. 15 And they did so, and caused all to sit down. 16 Then he took the 5 loaves, and the 2 fishes, and looked up to heaven, and blessed them, and brake, and gave to the disciples, to set before the people. 17 So they did all eat, and were satisfied, and there was taken up of that remained to them, 12 baskets full of broken meat. 18 Pilcro And it came to pass, as he was alone praying, his disciples were with him, and he asked them, saying, Whom say the people that I am? 19 They answered, and said, John Baptist, and others say, Elijah, and some say, that one of the old prophets is risen again. 20 And he said unto them, But whom say ye that I am? Peter answered, and said, The Christ of God. 21 And he warned and commanded them, that they should tell that to no man. 22 Saying, The Son of Man must suffer many things, and be reproved of the elders, and of the high priests and scribes, and be slain, and the 3rd day rise again. 23 Pilcro And he said to them all, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross daily, and follow me. 24 For whosoever will save his life, shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. 25 For what advantageth it a man, if he win the whole world, and destroy himself, or lose himself? 26 For whosoever shall be ashamed of me, and of my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he shall come in his glory, and in the glory of the Father, and of the holy angels. 27 And I tell you of a surety, there be some standing here, which shall not taste of death, till they have seen the kingdom of God. 28 And it came to pass about 8 days after those words, that he took Peter and John, and James, and went up into a mountain to pray. 29 And as he prayed, the fashion of his countenance was changed, and his garment was white and glistered. 30 And behold, 2 men talked with him, which were Moses and Elijah. 31 Which appeared in glory, and told of his departing, which he should accomplish at Jerusalem. 32 But Peter and they that were with him, were heavy with sleep, and when they awoke, they saw his glory, and the 2 men standing with him. 33 And it came to pass, as they departed from him, Peter said unto Jesus, Master, it is good for us to be here, let us therefore make 3 tabernacles, one for thee, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah, and wist not what he said. 34 While he thus spake, there came a cloud and overshadowed them, and they feared when they were entering into the cloud. 35 And there came a voice out of the cloud, saying, This is my beloved Son, hear him. 36 And when the voice was past, Jesus was found alone, and they kept it clothes, and told no man in those days any of those things which they had seen. 37 Pilgro And it came to pass on the next day, as they came down from the mountain, much people met him. 38 And behold, a man of the company cried out, saying, Master, I beseech thee, behold my son, for he is all that I have. 39 And lo, a spirit taketh him, and suddenly he crieth, and he teareth him, that he foameth, and with much pain departeth from him, when he hath bruised him. 40 Now I have besought thy disciples to cast him out, but they could not. 41 Then Jesus answered, and said, O generation faithless, and crooked, how long now shall I be with you, and suffer you? Bring thy son hither. 42 And while he was yet coming, the devil rent him, and tare him, and Jesus rebuked the unclean spirit, and healed the child, and delivered him to his father. 43 Pilgro And they were all amazed at the mighty power of God, and while they all wondered at all things which Jesus did, he said unto his disciples, 44 Mark these words diligently, for it shall come to pass, that the Son of Man shall be delivered into the hands of men. 45 But they understood not that word, for it was hid from them, so that they could not perceive it, and they feared to ask him of that word. 46 Pilgro Then there arose a disputation among them, which of them should be the greatest. 47 When Jesus saw the thoughts of their hearts, he took a little child, and set him by him. 48 And said unto them, Whosoever receiveth this little child in my name, receiveth me, and whosoever shall receive me, receiveth him that sent me, for he that is least among you all, he shall be great. 49 Pilgro And John answered and said, Master, we saw one casting out devils in thy name, and we forbade him, because he followeth thee not with us. 50 Then said Jesus said unto him, Forbid ye him not, for he that is not against us, is with us. 51 Pilgro And it came to pass, when the days were accomplished, that he should be received up, he settled himself fully to go to Jerusalem. 52 And sent messengers before him, and they went and entered into a town of the Samaritans, to prepare him lodging. 53 But they would not receive him, because his behavior was as though he would go to Jerusalem. 54 And when his disciples, James and John saw it, they said, Lord, wilt thou that we command, that fire come down from heaven, and consume them, even as Elijah did? 55 But Jesus turned about, and rebuked them, and said, Ye know not of what spirit ye are. 56 For the Son of Man is not come to destroy men's lives, but to save them. Then they went to another town. 57 Pilgro And it came to pass that as they went in the way, a certain man said unto him, I will follow thee, Lord, whithersoever thou goest. 58 And Jesus said unto him, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the heaven have nests, but the Son of Man hath not whereon to lay his head. 59 But he said unto another, Follow me. And the same said, Lord, suffer me first to go and bury my father. 60 And Jesus said unto him, Let the dead bury their dead, but go thou, and preach the kingdom of God. 61 Then another said, I will follow thee, Lord, but let me first go bid them farewell, which are at my house. 62 And Jesus said unto him, No man that putteth his hand to the plough, and looketh back, is apt to the kingdom of God. Luke 10:1 After these things, the Lord appointed other 70 also, and sent them, 2 and 2 before him into every city and place, whither he himself should come. 2 And he said unto them, The harvest is great, but the laborers are few. Pray therefore the Lord of the harvest to send forth laborers into his harvest. 3 Go your ways, behold, I send you forth as lambs among wolves. 4 Bear no bag, neither scrip, nor shoes, and salute no man by the way. 5 And into whatsoever house ye enter, first say, Peace be to this house. 6 And if the Son of Peace be there, your peace shall rest upon him, if not, it shall turn to you again. 7 And in that house tarry still, eating and drinking such things as by them shall be set before you, for the laborer is worthy of his wages. Go not from house to house. 8 But into whatsoever city ye shall enter, if they receive you, eat such things as are set before you. 9 And heal the sick that are there, and say unto them, The kingdom of God is come near unto you. 10 But into whatsoever city ye shall enter, if they will not receive you, go your ways out into the streets of the same, and say, 11 Even the very dust, which cleaveth on us of your city, we wipe off against you, notwithstanding know this, that the kingdom of God was come near unto you. 12 For I say to you, that it shall be easier in that day for them of Sodom, than for that city. 13 Woe be to thee, Chorazin! Woe be to thee, Bethsaida! For if the miracles had been done in Tyre and Sidon, which have been done in you, they had a great while ago repented, sitting in sackcloth and ashes. 14 Therefore it shall be easier for Tyre, and Sidon, at the judgment, than for you. 15 And thou, Capernaum, which art exalted to heaven, shalt be thrust down to hell. 16 Pilcrow he that heareth you, heareth me, and he that despiseth you, despiseth me, and he that despiseth me, despiseth him that sent me. 17 Pilcrow And the 70 turned again with joy, saying, Lord, even the devils are subdued to us through thy name. 18 And he said unto them, I saw Satan, like lightning, fall down from heaven. 19 Behold, I give unto you power to tread on serpents, and scorpions, and over all the power of the enemy, and nothing shall hurt you. 20 Nevertheless, in this rejoice not, that the spirits are subdued unto you, but rather rejoice, because your names are written in heaven. 21 Pilcrow That same hour rejoiced Jesus in the Spirit, and said, I confess unto thee, Father, Lord of heaven and earth, that thou hast hid these things from the wise and learned, and hast revealed them to babes, even so, Father, because it so pleased thee. 22 All things are given me of my Father, and no man knoweth who the Son is, but the Father, neither who the Father is, save the Son, and he to whom the Son will reveal him. 23 Pilcrow And he turned to his disciples, and said secretly, Blessed are the eyes, which see that ye see. 24 For I tell you that many prophets and kings have desired to see those things, which ye see, and have not seen them, and to hear those things which ye hear, and have not heard them. 25 Pilcrow Then behold, a certain lawyer stood up, and tempted him, saying, Master, what shall I do to inherit eternal life? 26 And he said unto him, What is written in the law? How readest thou? 27 And he answered, and said, Thou shalt love thy Lord God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy strength, and with all thy thought, and thy neighbor as thyself. 28 Then he said unto him, Thou hast answered right, this do, and thou shalt live. 29 But he willing to justify himself, said unto Jesus, Who is then my neighbor? 30 And Jesus answered, and said, A certain man went down from Jerusalem to Jericho, and fell among thieves, and they robbed him of his raiment, and wounded him, and departed, leaving him half dead. 31 And by chance there came down a certain priest that same way, and when he saw him, he passed by on the other side. 32 And likewise also a Levite, when he was come near to the place, went and looked on him, and passed by on the other side. 33 Then a certain Samaritan, as he journeyed, came near unto him, and when he saw him, he had compassion on him. 34 And went to him, and bound up his wounds, and poured in oil and wine, and put him on his own beast, and brought him to an inn, and made provision for him. 35 And on the morrow when he departed, he took out 2 pence, and gave them to the host, and said unto him, Take care of him, and whatsoever thou spendest more, when I come again, I will recompense thee. 36 Which now of these 3, thinkest thou, was neighbor unto him that fell among the thieves? 37 And he said, He that showed mercy on him. Then said Jesus unto him, Go, and do thou likewise. 38 Pilcro Now it came to pass, as they went, that he entered into a certain town, and a certain woman named Martha, received him into her house. 39 And she had a sister called Mary, which also sat at Jesus' feet, and heard his preaching. 40 But Martha was cumbered about much serving, and came to him, and said, Master, doest thou not care that my sister hath left me to serve alone? Bid her therefore, that she help me. 41 And Jesus answered, and said unto her, Martha, Martha, thou criest, and art troubled about many things. 42 But one thing is needful, Mary hath chosen the good part, which shall not be taken away from her. Luke 11:1 And so it was, that as he was praying in a certain place, when he ceased, one of his disciples said unto him, Lord, teach us to pray, as John also taught his disciples. 2 And he said unto them, When ye pray, say, Our Father which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, let thy will be done, even in earth, as it is in heaven. 3 Our daily bread give us for the day. 4 And forgive us our sins, for even we forgive every man that is indebted to us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. 5 Pilcro Moreover he said unto them, Which of you shall have a friend, and shall go to him at midnight, and say unto him, Friend, lend me 3 loaves. 6 For a friend of mine is come out of the way to me, and I have nothing to set before him. 7 And he within should answer, and say, Trouble me not, the door is now shut, and my children are with me in bed, I cannot rise and give them to thee. 8 I say unto you, though he would not arise and give him, because he is his friend, yet doubtless because of his importunity, he would rise and give him as many as he needed. 9 And I say unto you, Ask, and it shall be given you, seek, and ye shall find, knock, and it shall be opened unto you. 10 For everyone that asketh, receiveth, and he that seeketh, findeth, and to him that knocketh, it shall be opened. 11 If a son shall ask bread of any of you that is a father, will he give him a stone? Or if he ask a fish, will he for a fish give him a serpent? 12 Or if he ask an egg, will he give him a scorpion? 13 If ye then which are evil, can give good gifts unto your children, how much more shall your heavenly Father give the Holy Ghost to them that desire him? 14 Pilcro Then he cast out a devil which was dumb, and when the devil was gone out, the dumb spake, and the people wondered. 15 But some of them said, He casteth out devils through Beelzebub the chief of the devils. 16 And others tempted him, seeking of him a sign from heaven. 17 But he knew their thoughts, and said unto them, Every kingdom divided against itself, shall be desolate, and a house divided against a house, falleth. 18 So if Satan also be divided against himself, how shall his kingdom stand, because ye say that I cast out devils through Beelzebub? 19 If I through Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your children cast them out? Therefore shall they be your judges. 20 But if I by the finger of God cast out devils, doubtless the kingdom of God is come unto you. 21 When a strong man armed keepeth his palace, the things that he possesseth, are in peace. 22 But when a stronger than he cometh upon him, and overcometh him, he taketh from him all his armor wherein he trusted, and divideth his spoils. 23 He that is not with me, is against me, and he that gathereth not with me, scattereth. 24 When the unclean spirit is gone out of a man, he walketh through dry places, seeking rest, and when he findeth none, he saith, I will return unto my house whence I came out. 25 And when he cometh, he findeth it swept and garnished. 26 Then goeth he, and taketh to him 7 other spirits worse than himself, and they enter in, and dwell there, so the last state of that man is worse than the first. 27 Pilcrow And it came to pass as he said these things, a certain woman of the company lifted up her voice, and said unto him, Blessed is the womb that bare thee, and the paps which thou hast sucked. 28 But he said, Yea, rather blessed are they that hear the word of God, and keep it. 29 Pilcrow And when the people were gathered thick together, he began to say, This is a wicked generation, they seek a sign, and there shall no sign be given them, but the sign of Jonah the prophet. 30 For as Jonah was a sign to the Ninevites, so shall also the Son of Man be to this generation. 31 The queen of the south shall rise in judgment, with the men of this generation, and shall condemn them, for she came from the utmost parts of the earth to hear the wisdom of Solomon, and behold, a greater than Solomon is here. 32 The men of Nineveh shall rise in judgment with this generation, and shall condemn it, for they repented at the preaching of Jonah, and behold, a greater than Jonah is here. 33 Pilcrow No man when he hath lighted a candle, putteth it in a privy place, neither under a bushel, but on a candlestick, that they which come in, may see the light. 34 The light of the body is the eye, therefore when thine eye is single, then is thy whole body light, but if thine eye be evil, then thy body is dark. 35 Take heed therefore, that the light which is in thee, be not darkness. 36 If therefore thy whole body shall be light, having no part dark, then shall all be light, even as when a candle doth light thee with the brightness. 37 Pilcrow And as he spake, a certain Pharisee besought him to dine with him, and he went in, and sat down at table. 38 And when the Pharisee saw it, he marveled that he had not first washed before dinner. 39 And the Lord said to him, Indeed the Pharisees make clean the outside of the cup, and of the platter, but the inward part is full of ravening and wickedness. 40 Ye fools, did not he that made that which is without, make that which is within also? 41 Therefore, give alms of those things which you have, and behold, all things shall be clean unto you. 42 But woe be to you, Pharisees! For ye tithe the mint and the rue, and all manner herbs, and pass over judgment and the love of God, these ought ye to have done, and not to have left the other undone. 43 Woe be to you, Pharisees! For ye love the uppermost seats in the synagogues, and greetings in the markets. 44 Woe be to you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites! For ye are as graves which appear not, and the men that walk over them, perceive not. 45 Pilcrow Then answered one of the lawyers, and said unto him, Master, thus saying thou puttest us to rebuke also. 46 And he said, Woe be to you also, ye lawyers! For ye laid men with burdens grievous to be borne, and ye yourselves touch not the burdens with one of your fingers. 47 Woe be to you! For ye build the sepulchres of the prophets, and your fathers killed them. 48 Truly ye bear witness, and allow the deeds of your fathers, for they killed them, and ye build their sepulchres. 49 Therefore said the wisdom of God, I will send them prophets and apostles, and of them they shall slay, and persecute. 50 That the blood of all the prophets, shed from the foundation of the world, may be required of this generation. 51 From the blood of Abel unto the blood of Zechariah, which was slain between the altar and the temple, verily I say unto you, it shall be required of this generation. 52 Woe be to you, lawyers! For ye have taken away the key of knowledge, ye entered not in yourselves, and them that came in, ye forbade. 53 And as he said these things unto them, the scribes and Pharisees began to urge him sore, and to provoke him to speak of many things, 54 Laying wait for him, and seeking to catch something of his mouth, whereby they might accuse him. Luke 12:1 In the meantime, there gathered together an innumerable multitude of people, so that they trode one another, and he began to say unto his disciples first, Take heed to yourselves of the leaven of the Pharisees, which is hypocrisy. 2 For there is nothing covered, that shall not be revealed, neither hid, that shall not be known. 3 Wherefore whatsoever ye have spoken in darkness, it shall be heard in the light, and that which ye have spoken in the ear, in secret places, shall be preached on the houses. 4 And I say unto you, my friends, be not afraid of them that kill the body, and after that are not able to do any more. 5 But I will forewarn you, who ye shall fear him which after he hath killed, hath power to cast into hell, yea, I say unto you, him fear. 6 Are not 5 sparrows bought for 2 farthings, and yet not one of them is forgotten before God? 7 Yea, and all the hairs of your head are numbered, fear not therefore, ye are more of value than many sparrows. 8 Also I say unto you, whosoever shall confess me before men, him shall the Son of Man confess also before the angels of God. 9 But he that shall deny me before men, shall be denied before the angels of God. 10 And whosoever shall speak a word against the Son of Man, it shall be forgiven him, but unto him that shall blaspheme the Holy Ghost, it shall not be forgiven. 11 And when they shall bring you unto the synagogues, and unto the rulers and princes, take no thought how, or what thing ye shall answer, or what ye shall speak. 12 For the Holy Ghost shall teach you in the same hour, what ye ought to say. 13 And one of the company said unto him, Master, bid my brother divide the inheritance with me. 14 And he said unto him, Man, who made me a judge, or a divider over you? 15 Wherefore he said unto them, Take heed, and beware of covetousness, for though a man have abundance, yet his life standeth not in his riches. 16 And he put forth a parable unto them, saying, The ground of a certain rich man brought forth fruits plenteously. 17 Therefore he thought with himself, saying, What shall I do, because I have no room where I may lay up my fruits? 18 And he said, This will I do, I will pull down my barns, and build greater, and therein will I gather all my fruits, and my goods. 19 And I will say to my soul, Soul, thou hast much goods laid up for many years, live at ease, eat, drink and take thy pastime. 20 But God said unto him, O fool, this night will they fetch away thy soul from thee, then whose shall those things be which thou hast provided? 21 So is he that gathereth riches to himself, and is not rich in God. 22 And he spake unto his disciples, Therefore I say unto you, take no thought for your life, what ye shall eat, neither for your body, what ye shall put on. 23 The life is more than meat, and the body more than the raiment. 24 Consider the ravens, for they neither sow nor reap, which neither have storehouse nor barn, and yet God feedeth them, how much more are ye better than fowls? 25 And which of you with taking thought, can add to his stature 1 cubit? 26 If ye then be not able to do the least thing, why take ye thought for the remnant? 27 Consider the lilies how they grow, they labor not, neither spin they, yet I say unto you, that Solomon himself in all his royalty was not clothed like one of these. 28 If then God so clothe the grass which is today in the field, and tomorrow is cast into the oven, how much more will he clothe you, O ye of little faith? 29 Therefore ask not what ye shall eat, or what ye shall drink, neither stand in doubt. 30 For all such things the people of the world seek for, and your Father knoweth that ye have need of these things. 31 But rather seek ye after the kingdom of God, and all these things shall be cast upon you. 32 Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's pleasure to give you the kingdom. 33 Pilcro sell that ye have, and give alms, make you bags which wax not old, a treasure that can never fail in heaven, where no thief cometh neither moth corrupteth. 34 For where your treasure is, there will your heart be also. 35 Pilcrow, let your loins be girt about, and your lights burning. 36 And ye yourselves like unto men that wait for their master, when he will return from the wedding, that when he cometh and knocketh, they may open unto him immediately. 37 Blessed are those servants, whom the Lord when he cometh shall find waking. Verily I say unto you, he will gird himself about, and make them to sit down at table, and will come forth, and serve them. 38 And if he come in the second watch, or come in the third watch, and shall find them so, blessed are those servants. 39 Now understand this, that if the good man of the house had known at what hour the thief would have come, he would have watched, and would not have suffered his house to be dug through. 40 Be ye also prepared therefore, for the Son of Man will come at an hour when ye think not. 41 Then Peter said unto him, Master, tellest thou this parable unto us, or even to all? 42 And the Lord said, Who is a faithful steward and wise, whom the master shall make ruler over his household, to give them their portion of meat in season. 43 Blessed is that servant, whom his master when he cometh, shall find so doing. 44 Of a truth, I say unto you, that he will make him ruler over all that he hath. 45 But if that servant say in his heart, My master doth defer his coming, and begin to smite the servants, and maidens, and to eat and drink, and to be drunken. 46 The master of that servant will come in a day when he thinketh not, and at an hour when he is not aware of, and will cut him off, and give him his portion with the unbelievers. 47 Pilcrow And that servant that knew his master's will, and prepared not himself, neither did according to his will, shall be beaten with many stripes. 48 But he that knew it not, and yet did commit things worthy of stripes, shall be beaten with few stripes, for unto whomsoever much is given, of him shall be much required, and to whom men much commit, the more of him will they ask. 49 Pilcrow I am came to put fire on the earth, and what is my desire, if it be already kindled? 50 Notwithstanding I must be baptized with a baptism, and how am I grieved till it be ended? 51 Think ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather debate. 52 For from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. 53 The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. 54 Pilcrow Then said he to the people, When ye see a cloud rise out of the west, straightway ye say, A shower cometh, and so it is. 55 And when ye see the south wind blow, ye say, That it will be hot, and it cometh to pass. 56 Hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the earth, and of the sky, but why discern ye not this time? 57 Yea, and why judge ye not of yourselves what is right? 58 Pilcrow While thou goest with thine adversary to the ruler, as thou art in the way, give diligence in the way, that thou mayest be delivered from him, lest he draw thee to the judge, and the judge deliver thee to the jailer, and the jailer cast thee into prison. 59 I tell thee, thou shalt not depart thence, till thou hast paid the utmost mite. Luke 13:1 There were certain men present at the same season, that showed him of the Galileans, whose blood Pilate had mingled with their sacrifices. 2 And Jesus answered, and said unto them, Suppose ye, that these Galileans were greater sinners than all the other Galileans, because they have suffered such things? 3 I tell you, nay, but except ye amend your lives, ye shall all likewise perish. 4 Or think you that those 18, upon whom the tower in Siloam fell, and slew them, were sinners above all men that dwell in Jerusalem? 5 I tell you, nay, but except ye amend your lives, ye shall all likewise perish. 6 Pilcrow He spake also this parable, A certain man had a fig tree planted in his vineyard, and he came and sought fruit thereon, and found none. 7 Then said he to the dresser of his vineyard, Behold, this 3 years have I come and sought fruit of this fig tree, and find none. Cut it down, why keepeth it also the ground barren? 8 And he answered, and said unto him, Lord, let it alone this year also, till I dig round about it, and dung it. 9 And if it bear fruit, well; if not, then after thou shalt cut it down. 10 Pilcrow and he taught in one of the synagogues on the Sabbath day. 11 And behold, there was a woman which had a spirit of infirmity 18 years, and was bowed together, and could not lift up herself in any wise. 12 When Jesus saw her, he called her to him, and said to her, Woman, thou art loosed from thy disease. 13 And he laid his hands on her, and immediately she was made straight again, and glorified God. 14 And the ruler of the synagogue answered with indignation, because that Jesus healed on the Sabbath day, and said unto the people, There are 6 days in which men ought to work, in them therefore come and be healed, and not on the Sabbath day. 15 Then answered him the Lord, and said, Hypocrite, doth not each one of you on the Sabbath day loose his ox or his ass from the stall, and lead him away to the water? 16 And ought not this daughter of Abraham, whom Satan had bound, 18 years, be loosed from this bond on the Sabbath day? 17 And when he said these things, all his adversaries were ashamed, but all the people rejoiced at all the excellent things that were done by him. 18 Pilcrow Then said he, What is the kingdom of God like? Or whereto shall I compare it? 19 It is like a grain of mustard seed, which a man took and sowed in his garden, and it grew, and waxed a great tree, and the fowls of the heaven made nests in the branches thereof. 20 Pilcrow And again he said, Whereunto shall I liken the kingdom of God? 21 It is like leaven, which a woman took, and hid in 3 pecks of flour, till all was leavened. 22 Pilcrow And he went through all cities and towns, teaching, and journeying towards Jerusalem. 23 Then said one unto him, Lord, are there few that shall be saved? And he said unto them, 24 Strive to enter in at the strait gate, for many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in, and shall not be able. 25 When the good man of the house is risen up, and hath shut to the door, and ye begin to stand without, and to knock at the door, saying, Lord, Lord, open to us, and he shall answer and say unto you, I know you not whence ye are. 26 Then shall ye begin to say, We have eaten and drunk in thy presence, and thou hast taught in our streets. 27 But he shall say, I tell you, I know you not whence ye are, depart from me, all ye workers of iniquity. 28 There shall be weeping and gnashing of teeth, when ye shall see Abraham, and Isaac, and Jacob, and all the prophets in the kingdom of God, and yourselves thrust out at doors. 29 Then shall come many from the east, and from the west, and from the north, and from the south, and shall sit at table in the kingdom of God. 30 And behold, there are last, which shall be first, and there are first, which shall be last. 31 The same day there came certain Pharisees, and said unto him, Depart, and go hence, for Herod will kill thee. 32 Then said he unto them, Go ye and tell that fox, Behold, I cast out devils, and will heal still today, and tomorrow, and the 3rd day I shall be perfected. 33 Nevertheless I must walk today, and tomorrow, and the day following, for it cannot be that a prophet should perish out of Jerusalem. 34 O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, which killest the prophets, and stonest them that are sent to thee, how often would I have gathered thy children together, as the hen gathereth her brood under her wings, and ye would not. 35 Behold, your house is left unto you desolate, and verily I tell you, ye shall not see me until the time come that ye shall say, Blessed is he that cometh in the name of the Lord. Luke 14:1 And it came to pass that when he was entered into the house of one of the chief Pharisees on the Sabbath day, to eat bread, they watched him. 2 And behold, there was a certain man before him, which had the dropsy. 3 Then Jesus answering, spake unto the lawyers and Pharisees, saying, Is it lawful to heal on the Sabbath day? 4 And they held their peace. Then he took him, and healed him, and let him go. 5 And answered them, saying, Which of you shall have an ass, or an ox fallen into a pit, and will not straightway pull him out on the Sabbath day? 6 And they could not answer him again to those things. 7 Pilcrow He spake also a parable to the guests, when he marked how they chose out the chief rooms, and said unto them, 8 When thou shalt be bidden of any man to a wedding, set not thyself down in the chiefest place, lest a more honourable man than thou be bidden of him. 9 And he that bade both him and thee, come, and say to thee, Give this man room, and thou then begin with shame to take the lowest room. 10 But when thou art bidden, go and sit down in the lowest room, that when he that bade thee, cometh, he may say unto thee, Friend, sit up higher, then shalt thou have worship in the presence of them that sit at table with thee. 11 For whosoever exalteth himself, shall be brought low, and he that humbleth himself, shall be exalted. 12 Pilcrow Then said he also to him that had bidden him, When thou makest a dinner or a supper, call not thy friends, nor thy brethren, neither thy kinsmen, nor the rich neighbors, lest they also bid thee again, and a recompense be made thee. 13 But when thou makest a feast, call the poor, the maimed, the lame and the blind. 14 And thou shalt be blessed, because they cannot recompense thee, for thou shalt be recompensed at the resurrection of the just. 15 Pilcrow Now when one of them that sat at table heard these things, he said unto him, Blessed is he that eateth bread in the kingdom of God. 16 Then said he to him, A certain man made a great supper, and bade many. 17 And sent his servant at supper time to say to them that were bidden, Come, for all things are now ready. 18 But they all with one mind began to make excuse. The first said unto him, I have bought a farm, and I must needs go out and see it. I pray thee, have me excused. 19 And another said, I have bought 5 yoke of oxen, and I go to prove them. I pray thee, have me excused. 20 And another said, I have married a wife, and therefore I cannot come. 21 So that servant returned, and showed his master these things. Then was the good man of the house angry, and said to his servant, Go out quickly into the streets and lanes of the city, and bring in hither the poor, and the maimed, and the halt, and the blind. 22 And the servant said, Lord, it is done as thou hast commanded, and yet there is room. 23 Then the master said to the servant, Go out into the highways, and hedges, and compel them to come in, that my house may be filled. 24 For I say unto you, that none of those men which were bidden, shall taste of my supper. 25 Now there went great multitudes with him, and he turned and said unto them, 26 If any man come to me, and hate not his father, and mother, and wife, and children, and brethren, and sisters, yea, and his own life also, he cannot be my disciple. 27 And whosoever beareth not his cross, and cometh after me, cannot be my disciple. 28 For which of you minding to build a tower, sitting not down before, and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to perform it? 29 Lest that after he hath laid the foundation, and is not able to perform it, all that behold it, begin to mock him. 30 Saying, This man began to build, and was not able to make an end. 31 Or what king going to make war against another king, sitteth not down first, and taketh counsel, whether he be able with 10,000, to meet him that cometh against him with 20,000? 32 Or else while he is yet a great way off, he sendeth an ambassage, and desireth conditions of peace. 33 So likewise, whosoever he be of you, that forsaketh not all that he hath, he cannot be my disciple. 34 Salt is good, but if salt have lost his savour, wherewith shall be salted? 35 It is neither meet for the land, nor yet for the dunghill, but men cast it out. He that hath ears to hear, let him hear. Luke 15:1 Then resorted unto him all the publicans and sinners, to hear him. 2 Therefore the Pharisees and scribes murmured, saying, He receiveth sinners, and eateth with them. 3 Then spake he this parable to them, saying, For what man of you having 100 sheep, if he lose one of them, doeth not leave 99 in the wilderness, and go after that which is lost, until he find it? 5 And when he hath found it, he layeth it on his shoulders with joy. 6 And when he cometh home, he calleth together his friends and neighbors, saying unto them, Rejoice with me, for I have found my sheep which was lost. 7 I say unto you, that likewise joy shall be in heaven for one sinner that converteth, more than for 99 just men, which need no amendment of life. 8 Either what woman having 10 pieces of silver, if she lose 1 piece, doeth not light a candle, and sweep the house, and seek diligently till she find it? 9 And when she hath found it, she calleth her friends, and neighbors, saying, Rejoice with me, for I have found the piece which I had lost. 10 Likewise I say unto you, there is joy in the presence of the angels of God, for one sinner that converteth. 11 Pilcrow he said moreover, a certain man had 2 sons. 12 And the younger of them said to his father, Father, give me the portion of the goods that falleth to me. So he divided unto them his substance. 13 So not many days after, when the younger son had gathered all together, he took his journey into a far country, and there he wasted his goods with riotous living. 14 Now when he had spent all, there arose a great dearth throughout that land, and he began to be in necessity. 15 Then he went and clave to a citizen of that country, and he sent him to his farm, to feed swine. 16 And he would fain have filled his belly with the husks that the swine ate, but no man gave them him. 17 Then he came to himself, and said, How many hired servants at my father's have bread enough, and I die for hunger? 18 I will rise and go to my father, and say unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven, and before thee. 19 And am no more worthy to be called thy son, make me as one of thy hired servants. 20 So he arose and came to his father, and when he was yet a great way off, his father saw him, and had compassion, and ran and fell on his neck, and kissed him. 21 And the son said unto him, Father, I have sinned against heaven, and before thee, and am no more worthy to be called thy son. 22 Then the father said to his servants, Bring forth the best robe, and put it on him, and put a ring on his hand, and shoes on his feet. 23 And bring the fat calf, and kill him, and let us eat, and be merry. 24 For this my son was dead, and is alive again, and he was lost, but he is found. And they began to be merry. 25 Now the elder brother was in the field, and when he came and drew near to the house, he heard melody, and dancing. 26 And called one of his servants, and asked what those things meant. 27 And he said unto him, Thy brother is come, and thy father hath killed the fatted calf, because he hath received him safe and sound. 28 Then he was angry, and would not go in, therefore came his father out and entreated him. 29 But he answered, and said to his father, Lo, these many years have I done thee service, neither break I at any time thy commandment, and yet thou never gavest me a kid that I might make merry with my friends. 30 But when this thy son was come, which hath devoured thy goods with harlots, thou hast for his sake killed the fatted calf. 31 And he said unto him, Son, thou art ever with me, and all that I have, is thine. It was meet that we should make merry, and be glad, for this thy brother was dead, and is alive again, and he was lost, but he is found. Luke 16:1 And he said also unto his disciples, There was a certain rich man, which had a steward, and he was accused unto him, that he wasted his goods. 2 And he called him, and said unto him, How is it that I hear this of thee? Give an account of thy stewardship, for thou mayest be no longer steward. 3 Then the steward said within himself, What shall I do? For my master taketh away from me the stewardship. I cannot dig, and to beg I am ashamed. For I know what I will do, that when I am put out of the stewardship, they may receive me into their houses. 5 Then called he unto him every one of his master's debtors, and said unto the first, How much owest thou unto my master? 6 And he said, 100 measures of oil. And he said to him, Take thy writing, and sit down quickly, and write 50. 7 Then said he to another, How much owest thou? And he said, 100 measures of wheat. Then he said to him, Take thy writing and write 80. 8 And the Lord commended the unjust steward, because he had done wisely. Wherefore the children of this world are in their generation wiser than the children of light. 9 And I say unto you, make you friends with the riches of iniquity, that when ye shall want, they may receive you into everlasting habitations. 10 He that is faithful in the least, he is also faithful in much, and he that is unjust in the least, is unjust also in much. 11 If then ye have not been faithful in the wicked riches, who will trust you in the true treasure? 12 And if ye have not been faithful in another man's goods, who shall give you that which is yours? 13 No servant can serve two masters, for either he shall hate the one, and love the other, or else he shall lean to the one, and despise the other. Ye cannot serve God and riches. 14 All these things heard the Pharisees also which were covetous, and they scoffed at him. 15 Then he said unto them, Ye are they, which justify yourselves before men, but God knoweth your hearts, for that which is highly esteemed among men, is abomination in the sight of God. 16 The law and the prophets endured until John, and since that time the kingdom of God is preached, and every man presseth into it. 17 Now it is more easy that heaven and earth should pass away, than that one tittle of the law should fall. 18 Pilcro Whosoever putteth away his wife, and marrieth another, committeth adultery, and whosoever marrieth her that is put away from her husband, committeth adultery. 19 Pilcro There was a certain rich man, which was clothed in purple and fine linen, and fared well and delicately every day. 20 Also there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores. 21 And desired to be refreshed with the crumbs that fell from the rich man's table, yea, and the dogs came and licked his sores. 22 And it was so that the beggar died, and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom. The rich man also died, and was buried. 23 And being in hell in torments, he lifted up his eyes, and saw Abraham afar off, and Lazarus in his bosom. 24 Then he cried, and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water, and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame. 25 But Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime receivedst thy pleasures, and likewise Lazarus pains, now therefore is he comforted, and thou art tormented. 26 Besides all this, between you and us there is a great gulf set, so that they which would go from hence to you, cannot, neither can they come from thence to us. 27 Then he said, I pray thee therefore Father, that thou wouldest send him to my father's house. 28 For I have 5 brethren, that he may testify unto them, lest they also come into this place of torment. 29 Abraham said unto him, They have Moses and the prophets, let them hear them. 30 And he said, Nay Father Abraham, but if one come unto them from the dead, they will amend their lives. 31 Then he said unto him, If they hear not Moses and the prophets, neither will they be persuaded, though one rise from the dead again. Luke 17:1 Then said he to his disciples, It cannot be avoided, but that offenses will come, but woe be to him by whom they come. To it is better for him that a great millstone were hanged about his neck, and that he were cast into the sea, than that he should offend one of these little ones. 3 Pilcro Take heed to yourselves, if thy brother trespass against thee, rebuke him, and if he repent, forgive him. 4 And though he sin against thee 7 times in a day, and 7 times in a day turn again to thee, saying, It repenteth me, thou shalt forgive him. 5 Pilcro And the apostles said unto the Lord, Increase our faith. 6 And the Lord said, If ye had faith, as much as is a grain of mustard seed, and should say unto this mulberry tree, Pluck thyself up by the roots, and plant thyself in the sea, it should even obey you. 7 Pilcro Who is it also of you, that having a servant plowing or feeding cattle, would say unto him by and by, when he were come from the field, Go, and sit down at table? 8 And would not rather say to him, Dress wherewith I may sup, and gird thyself, and serve me, till I have eaten and drunken, and afterward eat thou, and drink thou? 9 Doeth he thank that servant, because he did that which was commanded unto him? I trow not. 10 So likewise ye, when ye have done all those things, which are commanded you, say, We are unprofitable servants, we have done that which was our duty to do. 11 Pilcro And so it was when he went to Jerusalem, that he passed through the midst of Samaria, and Galilee. 12 And as he entered into a certain town, there met him 10 men that were lepers, which stood afar off. 13 And they lifted up their voices and said, Jesus, Master, have mercy on us. 14 And when he saw them, he said unto them, Go, show yourselves unto the priests. And it came to pass, that as they went, they were cleansed. 15 Then one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back, and with a loud voice praised God. 16 And fell down on his face at his feet, and gave him thanks. And he was a Samaritan. 17 And Jesus answered, and said, Are there not 10 cleansed? But where are the 9? 18 There is none found that return to give God praise, save this stranger. 19 And he said unto him, Arise, go thy way, thy faith hath made thee whole. 20 Pilcro And when he was demanded of the Pharisees, when the kingdom of God should come, he answered them, and said, The kingdom of God cometh not with observation. 21 Neither shall men say, Lo here, or lo there, for behold, the kingdom of God is within you. 22 And he said unto the disciples, The days will come, when ye shall desire to see one of the days of the Son of Man, and ye shall not see it. 23 Then they shall say to you, Behold here, or behold there, but go not thither, neither follow them. 24 For as the lightning that lighteneth out of the one part under heaven, shineth unto the other part under heaven, so shall the Son of Man be in his day. 25 But first must he suffer many things and be reproved of this generation. 26 And as it was in the days of Noah, so shall be in the days of the Son of Man. 27 They ate, they drank, they married wives, and gave in marriage unto the day that Noah went into the ark, and the flood came, and destroyed them all. 28 Likewise also as it was in the days of Lot, they ate, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they built. 29 But in the day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven, and destroyed them all. 30 After these examples shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. 31 At that day he that is upon the house, and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it out, and he that is in the field likewise, let him not turn back to that he left behind. 32 Remember Lot's wife. 33 Whosoever will seek to save his soul, shall lose it, and whosoever shall lose it, shall get it life. 34 I tell you, in that night there shall be 2 in one bed, the one shall be received, and the other shall be left. 35 2 women shall be grinding together, the one shall be taken, and the other shall be left. 36 2 shall be in the field, one shall be received, and another shall be left. 37 And they answered, and said to him, Where, Lord? And he said unto them, Wheresoever the body is, thither shall also the eagles be gathered together. Luke 18:1 And he spake also a parable unto them, to this end, that they ought always to pray, and not to wax faint, 2 saying, There was a judge in a certain city, which feared not God, neither reverenced man. 3 And there was a widow in that city, which came unto him, saying, Do me justice against my adversary. 4 And he would not of a long time, but afterward he said with himself, Though I fear not God, nor reverence man. 5 Yet because this widow troubleth me, I will do her right, lest at the last she come and make me weary. 6 And the Lord said, Hear what the unrighteous judge saith. 7 Now shall not God avenge his elect, which cry day and night unto him, yea, though he suffer long for them? 8 I tell you he will avenge them quickly, but when the Son of Man cometh, shall he find faith on the earth? 9 Pilcro He spake also this parable unto certain which trusted in themselves that they were just, and despised others. 10 Two men went up into the temple to pray, the one a Pharisee, and the other a publican. 11 The Pharisee stood and prayed thus with himself, O God, I thank thee that I am not as other men, extortioners, unjust, adulterers, or even as this publican. 12 I fast twice in the week, I give tithes of all that ever I possess. 13 But the publican standing afar off, would not lift up so much as his eyes to heaven, but smote his breast, saying, O God, be merciful to me a sinner. 14 I tell you, this man departed to his house justified, rather than the other, for every man that exalteth himself, shall be brought low, and he that humbleth himself, shall be exalted. 15 Pilgro they brought unto him also babes that he should touch them. And when his disciples saw it, they rebuked them. 16 But Jesus called them unto him, and said, Suffer the babes to come unto me, and forbid them not, for of such is the kingdom of God. 17 Verily I say unto you, whosoever receiveth not the kingdom of God as a babe, he shall not enter therein. 18 Then a certain ruler asked him, saying, Good master, what ought I to do, to inherit eternal life? 19 And Jesus said unto him, Why callest thou me good? None is good, save one, even God. 20 Thou knowest the commandments, Thou shalt not commit adultery, Thou shalt not kill, Thou shalt not steal, Thou shalt not bear false witness, honor thy father and thy mother. 21 And he said, All these have I kept from my youth. 22 Now when Jesus heard that, he said unto him, Yet lackest thou one thing. Sell all that ever thou hast, and distribute unto the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come follow me. 23 But when he heard those things, he was very heavy, for he was marvelously rich. 24 And when Jesus saw him very sorrowful, he said, With what difficulty shall they that have riches, enter into the kingdom of God? 25 Surely it is easier for a camel to go through a needle's eye, than for a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. 26 Then said they that heard it, And who then can be saved? 27 And he said, The things which are impossible with men, are possible with God. 28 Pilgro Then Peter said, Lo, we have left all, and have followed thee. 29 And he said unto them, Verily I say unto you, there is no man that hath left house, or parents, or brethren, or wife, or children for the kingdom of God's sake. 30 Which shall not receive much more in this world, and in the world to come life everlasting. 31 Pilgro Then Jesus took unto him the 12, and said unto them, Behold, we go up to Jerusalem, and all things shall be fulfilled to the Son of Man, that are written by the prophets. 32 For he shall be delivered unto the Gentiles, and shall be mocked, and shall be spitefully entreated, and shall be spitted on. 33 And when they have scourged him, they will put him to death, but the third day he shall rise again. 34 But they understood none of these things, and this saying was hid from them, neither perceived they the things which were spoken. 35 Pilgro And it came to pass, that as he was come near unto Jericho, a certain blind man sat by the wayside, begging. 36 And when he heard the people pass by, he asked what it meant. 37 And they said unto him, that Jesus of Nazareth passed by. 38 Then he cried, saying, Jesus the Son of David, have mercy on me. 39 And they which went before, rebuked him that he should hold his peace, but he cried much more, O Son of David, have mercy on me. 40 And Jesus stood still, and commanded him to be brought unto him. And when he was come near, he asked him, 41 saying, What wilt thou that I do unto thee? And he said, Lord, that I may receive my sight. 42 And Jesus said unto him, Receive thy sight, thy faith hath saved thee. 43 Then immediately he received his sight, and followed him, praising God, and all the people, when they saw this, gave praise to God. Luke 19:1 Now when Jesus entered and passed through Jericho, 2 Behold, there was a man named Zacchaeus, which was the chief receiver of the tribute, and he was rich. 3 And he sought to see Jesus, who he should be, and could not for the press, because he was of a low stature. 4 Wherefore he ran before, and climbed up into a wild fig tree, that he might see him, for he should come that way. 5 And when Jesus came to the place, he looked up, and saw him, and said unto him, Zacchaeus, come down at once, for today I must abide at thy house. 6 Then he came down hastily, and received him joyfully. 7 And when all they saw it, they murmured, saying, that he was gone in to lodge with a sinful man. 8 And Zacchaeus stood forth, and said unto the Lord, Behold, Lord, the half of my goods I give to the poor, and if I have taken from any man by forged cavillation, I restore him fourfold. 9 Then said Jesus said to him, This day is salvation come unto this house, forasmuch as he is also become the son of Abraham. 10 For the Son of Man is come to seek, and to save that which was lost. 11 And while they heard these things, he continued and spake a parable, because he was near to Jerusalem, and because also they thought that the kingdom of God should shortly appear. 12 He said therefore, a certain noble man went into a far country, to receive for himself a kingdom, and so to come again. 13 And he called his 10 servants, and delivered them 10 pieces of money, and said unto them, Occupy till I come. 14 Now his citizens hated him, and sent an ambassage after him, saying, We will not have this man to reign over us. 15 And it came to pass, when he was come again, and had received his kingdom, that he commanded the servants to be called to him, to whom he gave his money, that he might know what every man had gained. 16 Then came the first, saying, Lord, thy piece hath increased 10 pieces. 17 And he said unto him, Well, good servant, because thou hast been faithful in a very little thing, take thou authority over 10 cities. 18 And the second came, saying, Lord, thy piece hath increased 5 pieces. 19 And to the same he said, Be thou also ruler over 5 cities. 20 So the other came, and said, Lord, behold thy piece, which I have laid up in a napkin. 21 For I feared thee, because thou art a straight man, thou takest up that thou laidst not down, and reapest that thou didst not sow. 22 Then he said unto him, Of thine own mouth will I judge thee, O evil servant. Thou knowest that I am a straight man, taking up that I laid not down, and reaping that I did not sow. 23 Wherefore then gavest not thou my money into the bank, that at my coming I might have required it with vantage? 24 And he said to them that stood by, Take from him that piece, and give it him that hath 10 pieces. 25 And they said unto him, Lord, he hath 10 pieces. 26 For I say unto you, that unto all them that have, it shall be given, and from him that hath not, even that he hath, shall be taken from him. 27 Moreover, those mine enemies, which would not that I should reign over them, bring hither, and slay them before me. 28 Pilgro And when he had thus spoken, he went forth before, ascending up to Jerusalem. 29 And it came to pass, when he was come near to Bethphage, and Bethany, besides the mount which is called the Mount of Olives, he sent 2 of his disciples, 30 saying, Go ye to the town which is before you, wherein as soon as ye are come, ye shall find a colt tied, whereon never man sat, loose him, and bring him hither. 31 And if any man ask you, why ye loose him, thus shall ye say unto him, Because the Lord hath need of him. 32 So they that were sent, went their way, and found it as he had said unto them. 33 And as they were loosing the colt, the owners thereof said unto them, Why loose ye the colt? 34 And they said, The Lord hath need of him. 35 Pilgro So they brought him to Jesus, and they cast their garments on the colt, and set Jesus thereon. 36 And as he went, they spread their clothes in the way. 37 And when he was now come near to the going down of the Mount of Olives, the whole multitude of the disciples began to rejoice, and to praise God with a loud voice, for all the great works that they had seen. 38 Saying, Blessed be the King that cometh in the name of the Lord, peace in heaven, and glory in the highest places. 39 Then some of the Pharisees of the company said unto him, Master, rebuke thy disciples. 40 But he answered, and said unto them, I tell you, that if these should hold their peace, the stones would cry. 41 Pilgro And when he was come near, he beheld the city, and wept for it. 42 saying, "Oh, if thou hadst even known at the least in this thy day those things, which belong unto thy peace. But now are they hid from thine eyes." 43 For the days shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side. 44 And shall make thee even with the ground, and thy children which are in thee, and they shall not leave in thee a stone upon a stone, because thou knewest not the time of thy visitation. 45 Pilcro He went also into the temple, and began to cast out them that sold therein, and them that bought. 46 Saying unto them, It is written, My house is the house of prayer, but ye have made it a den of thieves. 47 And he taught daily in the temple. And the high priests and the scribes, and the chief of the people sought to destroy him. 48 But they could not find what they might do to him, for all the people hanged upon him when they heard him. Luke 20:1 And it came to pass, that on one of those days, as he taught the people in the temple, and preached the gospel, the high priests and the scribes came upon him, with the elders, too, and spake unto him, saying, Tell us by what authority thou doest these things, or who is he that hath given thee this authority? 3 And he answered, and said unto them, I also will ask you one thing, tell me therefore, for the baptism of John, was it from heaven, or of men? 5 And they reasoned within themselves, saying, If we shall say, From heaven, he will say, Why then believed ye him not? 6 But if we shall say, Of men, all the people will stone us, for they be persuaded that John was a prophet. 7 Therefore they answered, that they could not tell whence it was. 8 Then Jesus said unto them, Neither tell I you, by what authority I do these things. 9 Pilcro Then began he to speak to the people this parable, A certain man planted a vineyard, and led it forth to husbandmen, and went into a strange country, for a great time. 10 And at the time convenient he sent a servant to the husbandmen, that they should give him of the fruit of the vineyard, but the husbandman did beat him, and sent him away empty. 11 Again he sent yet another servant, and they did beat him, and foul entreated him, and sent him away empty. 12 Moreover he sent the third, and him they wounded, and cast out. 13 Then said the Lord of the vineyard, What shall I do? I will send my beloved son, it may be that they will do reverence when they see him. 14 But when the husbandmen saw him, they reasoned with themselves, saying, This is the heir, come, let us kill him, that the inheritance may be ours. 15 So they cast him out of the vineyard, and killed him. What shall the Lord of the vineyard therefore do unto them? 16 He will come and destroy these husbandmen, and will give out his vineyard to others. But when they heard it, they said, God forbid. 17 Pilcro And he beheld them, and said, What meaneth this then that is written, The stone that the builders refused, that is made the head of the corner? 18 Whosoever shall fall upon that stone, shall be broken, and on whomsoever it shall fall, it will grind him to powder. 19 Then the high priests, and the scribes the same hour went about to lay hands on him, but they feared the people, for they perceived that he had spoken this parable against them. 20 And they watched him, and sent forth spies, which should feign themselves just men to take him in his talk, and to deliver him unto the power and authority of the governor. 21 And they asked him, saying, Master, we know that thou sayest, and teachest right, neither doest thou accept any man's person, but teachest the way of God truly. 22 Is it lawful for us to give Caesar tribute or not? 23 But he perceived their craftiness, and said unto them, Why tempt ye me? 24 Show me a penny. Whose image and superscription hath it? They answered, and said, Caesar's. 25 Then he said unto them, Give then unto Caesar the things which are Caesar's, and to God those which are God's. 26 And they could not reprove his saying before the people, but they marveled at his answer, and held their peace. 27 Then came to him certain of the Sadducees, which deny that there is any resurrection, and they asked him, 28 Saying, Master, Moses wrote unto us, If any man's brother die having a wife, and he die without children, that his brother should take his wife, and raise up seed unto his brother. 29 Now there were 7 brethren, and the first took a wife, and he died without children. 30 And the second took the wife, and he died childless. 31 And the third took her, and so likewise the 7 died, and left no children. 32 And last of all, the woman died also. 33 Therefore at the resurrection, whose wife of them shall she be? For 7 had her to wife. 34 Then said Jesus answered, and said unto them, The children of this world marry wives, and are married. 35 But they which shall be counted worthy to enjoy that world, and the resurrection from the dead, neither marry wives, neither are married. 36 For they can die no more, forasmuch as they are equal unto the angels, and are the sons of God, since they are the children of the resurrection. 37 And that the dead shall rise again, even Moses showed it besides the bush, when he said, The Lord is the God of Abraham, and the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob. 38 For he is not the God of the dead, but of them which live, for all live unto him. 39 Then certain of the scribes answered, and said, Master, thou hast well said. 40 And after that, durst they not ask him anything at all. 41 Pilcro Then said he unto them, How say they that Christ is David's son? 42 And David himself saith in the book of the Psalms, The Lord said unto my Lord, Sit at my right hand, 43 Till I shall make thine enemies thy footstool? 44 Seeing David calleth him Lord, how is he then his son? 45 Pilcro Then in the audience of all the people, he said unto his disciples, 46 Beware of the scribes, which desire to go in long robes, and love salutations in the markets, and the highest seats in the synagogues, and the chief rooms at feasts, 47 Which devour widows' houses, and in show make long prayers, these shall receive greater damnation. Luke 21:1 And as he beheld, he saw the rich men which cast their gifts into the treasury. 2 And he saw also a certain poor widow which cast in thither 2 mites. 3 And he said, Of a truth I say unto you, that this poor widow hath cast in more than they all. 4 For they all have of their superfluity cast into the offerings of God, but she of her penury hath cast in all the living that she had. 5 Now as some spake of the temple, how it was garnished with goodly stones, and with consecrated things, he said, 6 Are these the things that ye look upon? The days will come wherein a stone shall not be left upon a stone, that shall not be thrown down. 7 Then they asked him, saying, Master, but when shall these things be? And what sign shall there be when these things shall come to pass? 8 And he said, Take heed, that ye be not deceived, for many will come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and the time draweth near, follow ye not them therefore. 9 And when ye hear of wars and seditions, be not afraid, for these things must first come, but the end followeth not by and by. 10 Then said he unto them, Nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. 11 And great earthquakes shall be in divers places, and hunger, and pestilence, and fearful things, and great signs shall there be from heaven. 12 But before all these, they shall lay their hands on you, and persecute you, delivering you up to the synagogues, and into prisons, and bring you before kings and rulers for my name's sake. 13 And this shall turn to you, for a testimonial. 14 Lay it up therefore in your hearts, that ye premeditate not what ye shall answer. 15 For I will give you a mouth, and wisdom whereagainst all your adversaries shall not be able to speak nor resist. 16 Yea, ye shall be betrayed also of your parents, and of your brethren, and kinsmen, and friends, and some of you shall they put to death. 17 And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake. 18 Yet there shall not one hair of your heads perish. 19 By your patience possess your souls. 20 Pilcro And when ye see Jerusalem besieged with soldiers, then understand that the desolation thereof is near. 21 Then let them which are in Judea, flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst thereof, depart out, and let not them that are in the country, enter therein. 22 For these be the days of vengeance, to fulfill all things that are written. 23 But woe be to them that be with child, and to them that give suck in those days, for there shall be great distress in this land, and wrath over this people. 24 And they shall fall on the edge of the sword, and shall be led captive into all nations, and Jerusalem shall be trodden under foot of the Gentiles, until the time of the Gentiles be fulfilled. 25 Then there shall be signs in the sun, and in the moon, and in the stars, and upon the earth trouble among the nations, with perplexity, the sea and the waters shall roar. 26 And men's hearts shall fail them for fear and for looking after those things which shall come on the world, for the powers of heaven shall be shaken. 27 And then shall they see the Son of Man come in a cloud, with power and great glory. 28 And when these things begin to come to pass, then look up, and lift up your heads, for your redemption draweth near. 29 And he spake to them a parable, Behold, the fig tree, and all trees. 30 When they now shoot forth, ye seeing them, know of your own selves, that summer is then near. 31 So likewise ye, when ye see these things come to pass, know ye that the kingdom of God is near. 32 Verily I say unto you, this age shall not pass, till all these things be done. 33 Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. 34 Take heed to yourselves, lest at any time your hearts be oppressed with surfeiting and drunkenness, and cares of this life, and lest that day come on you at unawares. 35 For as a snare shall come on all them that dwell on the face of the whole earth. 36 Watch therefore, and pray continually, that ye may be counted worthy to escape all these things that shall come to pass, and that ye may stand before the Son of Man. 37 Pilcro Now in the daytime he taught in the temple, and at night he went out, and abode in the mount, that is called the Mount of Olives. 38 And all the people came in the morning to him, to hear him in the temple. Luke 22:1 Now the feast of unleavened bread drew near, which is called the Passover. 2 And the high priests and scribes sought how they might kill him, for they feared the people. 3 Then entered Satan into Judas, who was called Iscariot, and was of the number of the 12. 4 And he went his way, and communed with the high priests and captains, how he might betray him to them. 5 So they were glad, and agreed to give him money. 6 And he consented, and sought opportunity to betray him unto them, when the people were away. 7 Pilcro Then came the day of unleavened bread, when the Passover must be sacrificed. 8 And he sent Peter and John, saying, Go and prepare us the Passover that we may eat it. 9 And they said to him, Where wilt thou, that we prepare it? 10 Then he said unto them, Behold, when ye be entered into the city, there shall a man meet you, bearing a pitcher of water, follow him into the house that he entereth in. 11 And say unto the good man of the house, The master saith unto thee, Where is the lodging where I shall eat my Passover with my disciples? 12 Then he shall show you a great high chamber trimmed, there make it ready. 13 So they went, and found as he had said unto them, and made ready the Passover. 14 And when the hour was come, he sat down, and the 12 apostles with him. 15 Then he said unto them, I have earnestly desired to eat this Passover with you, before I suffer. 16 For I say unto you, henceforth I will not eat of it any more, until it be fulfilled in the kingdom of God. 17 And he took the cup, and gave thanks, and said, Take this, and divide it among you. 18 For I say unto you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine, until the kingdom of God be come. 19 And he took bread, and when he had given thanks, he brake it, and gave to them, saying, This is my body, which is given for you, do this in the remembrance of me. 20 Likewise also after supper he took the cup, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you. 21 Yet behold, the hand of him that betrayeth me, is with me at the table. 22 And truly the Son of Man goeth as it is appointed, but woe be to that man by whom he is betrayed. 23 Then they began to inquire among themselves which of them it should be, that should do that. 24 Pilgro. And there arose also a strife among them, which of them should seem to be the greatest. 25 But he said unto them, The kings of the Gentiles reign over them, and they that bear rule over them, are called gracious lords. 26 But ye shall not be so, but let the greatest among you be as the least, and the chiefest as he that serveth. 27 For who is greater, he that sitteth at table, or he that serveth? Is not he that sitteth at table? And I am among you as he that serveth. 28 And ye are they which have continued with me in my temptations. 29 Therefore I appoint unto you a kingdom, as my Father hath appointed unto me. 30 That ye may eat, and drink at my table, in my kingdom, and sit on seats, and judge the 12 tribes of Israel. 31 Pilgro. And the Lord said, Simon, Simon, behold, Satan hath desired you, to winnow you as wheat. 32 But I have prayed for thee, that thy faith fail not, therefore when thou art converted, strengthen thy brethren. 33 And he said unto him, Lord, I am ready to go with thee into prison, and to death. 34 But he said, I tell thee, Peter, the cock shall not crow this day, before thou hast thrice denied that thou knowest me. 35 Pilgro. And he said unto them, When I sent you without bag, and scrip, and shoes, lacked ye anything? And they said, Nothing. 36 Then he said to them, But now he that hath a bag, let him take it, and likewise a scrip, and he that hath none, let him sell his coat, and buy a sword. 37 For I say unto you, that yet the same which is written, must be performed in me, even with the wicked was he numbered, for doubtless those things which are written of me, have an end. 38 And they said, Lord, behold, here are 2 swords. And he said unto them, It is enough. 39 Pilgro. And he came out, and went, as he was wont, to the Mount of Olives, and his disciples also followed him. 40 And when he came to the place, he said to them, Pray, lest ye enter into temptation. 41 And he got himself from them about a stone's cast, and kneeled down, and prayed. 42 Saying, Father, if thou wilt, take away this cup from me, nevertheless, not my will, but thine be done. 43 And there appeared an angel unto him from heaven, comforting him. 44 But being in an agony, he prayed more earnestly, and his sweat was like drops of blood, trickling down to the ground. 45 And he rose up from prayer, and came to his disciples, and found them sleeping for heaviness. 46 And he said unto them, Why sleep ye? Rise and pray, lest ye enter into temptation. 47 Pilgro. And while he yet spake, behold, a company, and he that was called Judas one of the 12, went before them, and came near unto Jesus to kiss him. 48 And Jesus said unto him, Judas, betrayest thou the Son of Man with a kiss? 49 Now when they which were about him, saw what would follow, they said unto him, Lord, shall we smite with sword? 50 And one of them smote a servant of the high priest, and struck off his right ear. 51 Then Jesus answered, and said, Suffer them thus far. And he touched his ear, and healed him. 52 Then said Jesus said unto the high priests, and captains of the temple, and the elders which were come to him, Be ye come out as unto a thief with swords and staves? 53 When I was daily with you in the temple, ye stretched not forth the hands against me, but this is your very hour, and the power of darkness. 54 Pilgro. Then took they him, and led him, and brought him to the high priest's house. And Peter followed afar off. 55 And when they had kindled a fire in the midst of the hall, and were set down together, Peter also sat down among them. 56 And a certain maid beheld him as he sat by the fire, and having well looked on him, said, This man was also with him. 57 But he denied him, saying, Woman, I know him not. 58 And after a little while, another man saw him, and said, Thou art also of them. But Peter said, Man, I am not. 59 And about the space of an hour after, a certain other affirmed, saying, Verily, even this man was with him, for he is also a Galilean. 60 And Peter said, Man, I know not what thou sayest. And immediately while he yet spake, the cock crew. 61 Then the Lord turned back, and looked upon Peter. And Peter remembered the words of the Lord, how he had said unto him, Before the cock crow, thou shalt deny me thrice. 62 And Peter went out, and wept bitterly. 63 Pilcrow and the men that held Jesus, mocked him, and struck him. 64 And when they had blindfolded him, they smote him on the face, and asked him, saying, Prophesy who it is that smote thee. 65 And many other things blasphemously spake they against him. 66 And as soon as it was day, the elders of the people, and the high priests and the scribes came together, and led him into their council. 67 Saying, Art thou that Christ? Tell us. And he said unto them, If I tell you, ye will not believe it. 68 And if also I ask you, you will not answer me, nor let me go. 69 Hereafter shall the Son of Man sit at the right hand of the power of God. 70 Then said they all, Art thou then the Son of God? And he said to them, Ye say, that I am. 71 Then said they, What need we any further witness? For we ourselves have heard it of his own mouth. Luke 23:1 Then the whole multitude of them arose, and led him unto Pilate. 2 And they began to accuse him, saying, We have found this man perverting the nation, and forbidding to pay tribute to Caesar, saying, that he is Christ a king. 3 And Pilate asked him, saying, Art thou the king of the Jews? And he answered him, and said, Thou sayest it. 4 Then said Pilate to the high priests, and to the people, I find no fault in this man. 5 But they were the more fierce, saying, He moveth the people, teaching throughout all Judea, beginning at Galilee, even to this place. 6 Now when Pilate heard of Galilee, he asked whether the man were a Galilean. 7 And when he knew that he was of Herod's jurisdiction, he sent him to Herod, which was also at Jerusalem in those days. 8 And when Herod saw Jesus, he was exceedingly glad, for he was desirous to see him of a long season, because he had heard many things of him, and trusted to have seen some sign done by him. 9 Then questioned he with him of many things, but he answered him nothing. 10 The high priests also and scribes stood forth and accused him vehemently. 11 And Herod with his men of war, despised him, and mocked him, and arrayed him in white, and sent him again to Pilate. 12 And the same day Pilate and Herod were made friends together, for before they were enemies one to another. 13 Pilcrow Then Pilate called together the high priests, and the rulers, and the people. 14 And said unto them, Ye have brought this man unto me, as one that perverted the people, and behold, I have examined him before you, and have found no fault in this man, of those things whereof ye accuse him. 15 No, nor yet Herod, for I sent you to him, and lo, nothing worthy of death is done of him. 16 I will therefore chastise him, and let him loose. 17 For of necessity he must have let one loose unto them at the feast. 18 Then all the multitude cried at once, saying, Away with him, and deliver unto us Barabbas. 19 Which for a certain insurrection made in the city, and murder, was cast in prison. 20 Then Pilate spake again to them, willing to let Jesus loose. 21 But they cried, saying, Crucify, crucify him. 22 And he said unto them the third time, But what evil hath he done? I find no cause of death in him, I will therefore chastise him, and let him loose. 23 But they were instant with loud voices, and required that he might be crucified. And the voices of them and of the high priests prevailed. 24 So Pilate gave sentence, that it should be as they required. 25 And he let loose unto them him that for insurrection and murder was cast into prison, whom they desired, and delivered Jesus to do with him what they would. 26 Pilcrow And as they led him away, they caught one Simon of Cyrene, coming out of the field, and on him they laid the cross, to bear it after Jesus. 27 And there followed him a great multitude of people, and of women, which women bewailed and lamented him. 28 But Jesus turned back unto them, and said, Daughters of Jerusalem, weep not for me, but weep for yourselves, and for your children. 29 For behold, the days will come, when men shall say, Blessed are the barren, and the wombs that never bare, and the paps which never gave suck. 30 Then shall they begin to say to the mountains, Fall on us, and to the hills, Cover us. 31 For if they do these things to a green tree, what shall be done to the dry? 32 And there were 2 others, which were evildoers, led with him to be slain. 33 And when they were come to the place, which is called Calvary, there they crucified him, and the evildoers, one at the right hand, and the other at the left. 34 Then said Jesus, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do. And they parted his raiment, and cast lots. 35 And the people stood, and beheld. And the rulers mocked him with them, saying, He saved others, let him save himself, if he be that Christ, the chosen of God. 36 The soldiers also mocked him, and came and offered him vinegar. 37 And said, If thou be the King of the Jews, save thyself. 38 And a superscription was also written over him, in Greek letters, and in Latin, and in Hebrew, This is the King of the Jews. 39 Pilcro and one of the evildoers, which were hanged, railed on him, saying, If thou be the Christ, save thyself and us. 40 But the other answered, and rebuked him, saying, Fearest thou not God, seeing thou art in the same condemnation? 41 We are indeed righteously here, for we receive things worthy of that we have done, but this man hath done nothing amiss. 42 And he said unto Jesus, Lord, remember me, when thou comest into thy kingdom. 43 Then said Jesus said unto him, Verily I say unto thee, today shalt thou be with me in paradise. 44 Pilcro And it was about the 6th hour, and there was a darkness over all the land, until the 9th hour. 45 And the sun was darkened, and the veil of the temple rent through the midst. 46 And Jesus cried with a loud voice, and said, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. And when he thus had said, he gave up the ghost. 47 Pilcro Now when the centurion saw what was done, he glorified God, saying, Of a surety this man was just. 48 And all the people that came together to that sight, beholding the things which were done, smote their breasts, and returned. 49 And all his acquaintances stood afar off, and the women that followed him from Galilee, beholding these things. 50 Pilcro And behold, there was a man named Joseph, which was a counselor, a good man and a just. 51 He did not consent to the counsel and deed of them, which was of Arimathea, a city of the Jews, who also himself waited for the kingdom of God. 52 He went unto Pilate, and asked the body of Jesus. 53 And took it down, and wrapped it in a linen cloth, and laid it in a tomb hewn out of the rock, wherein was never man yet laid. 54 And that day was the preparation, and the Sabbath drew on. 55 And the women also that followed after, which came with him from Galilee, beheld the sepulchre, and how his body was laid. 56 And they returned and prepared odors, and ointments, and rested the Sabbath day according to the commandment. Luke 24:1 Now the first day of the week early in the morning, they came unto the sepulchre, and brought the odors which they had prepared, and certain women with them. 2 And they found the stone rolled away from the sepulchre. 3 And went in, but found not the body of the Lord Jesus. 4 And it came to pass, that as they were amazed thereat, behold, 2 men suddenly stood by them in shining vestures. 5 And as they were afraid, and bowed down their faces to the earth, they said to them, Why seek ye him that liveth among the dead? 6 He is not here, but is risen. Remember how he spake unto you, when he was yet in Galilee. 7 Saying, that the Son of Man must be delivered into the hands of sinful men, and be crucified, and the 3rd day rise again. 8 And they remembered his words. 9 And returned from the sepulchre, and told all these things unto the 11, and to all the remnant. 10 Now it was Mary Magdalene, and Joanna, and Mary the mother of James, and other women with them which told these things unto the apostles. 11 But their words seemed unto them as a feigned thing, neither believed they them. 12 Then arose Peter and ran unto the sepulchre, and looked in and saw the linen clothes laid by themselves, and departed wondering in himself at that which was come to pass. 13 Pilgro And behold, 2 of them went that same day to a town which was from Jerusalem about 60 furlongs, called Emmaus. 14 And they talked together of all these things that were done. 15 And it came to pass, as they communed together, and reasoned, that Jesus himself drew near, and went with them. 16 But their eyes were holden, that they could not know him. 17 And he said unto them, What manner of communications are these that ye have one to another as ye walk and are sad? 18 And the one, named Cleopas, answered and said unto him, Art thou only a stranger in Jerusalem, and hast not known the things which are come to pass therein in these days? 19 And he said unto them, What things? And they said unto him, Of Jesus of Nazareth, which was a prophet, mighty in deed and in word before God, and all people. 20 And how the high priests, and our rulers delivered him to be condemned to death, and have crucified him. 21 But we trusted that it had been he that should have delivered Israel, and as touching all these things, today is the 3rd day, that they were done. 22 Yea, and certain women among us made us astonished, which came early unto the sepulchre. 23 And when they found not his body, they came, saying, that they had also seen a vision of angels, which said, that he was alive. 24 Therefore certain of them which were with us, went to the sepulchre, and found it even so as the women had said, but him they saw not. 25 Then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. 26 Ought not Christ to have suffered these things, and to enter into his glory? 27 And he began at Moses, and at all the prophets, and interpreted unto them in all the scriptures the things which were written of him. 28 And they drew near unto the town, which they went to, but he made as though he would have gone further. 29 But they constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is towards night, and the day is far spent. So he went in to tarry with them. 30 And it came to pass, as he sat at table with them, he took the bread, and blessed, and brake it, and gave it to them. 31 Then their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he was taken out of their sight. 32 And they said between themselves, Did not our hearts burn within us, while he talked with us by the way, and when he opened to us the scriptures? 33 And they rose up the same hour, and returned to Jerusalem, and found the 11 gathered together, and them that were with them. 34 Which said, The Lord is risen indeed, and hath appeared to Simon. 35 Then they told what things were done in the way, and how he was known of them in breaking of bread. 36 Pilgro And as they spake these things, Jesus himself stood in the midst of them, and said unto them, Peace be to you. 37 But they were abashed and afraid, supposing that they had seen a spirit. 38 Then he said unto them, Why are ye troubled? And wherefore do doubts arise in your hearts? 39 Behold my hands and my feet, for it is I myself, handle me, and see, for a spirit hath not flesh and bones, as ye see me have. 40 And when he had thus spoken, he showed them his hands and feet. 41 And while they yet believed not for joy, and wondered, he said unto them, Have ye here any meat? 42 And they gave him a piece of a broiled fish, and of a honeycomb. 43 And he took it, and did eat before them. 44 And he said unto them, These are the words, which I spake unto you while I was yet with you, that all must be fulfilled which are written of me in the law of Moses, and in the prophets, and in the Psalms. 45 Then opened he their understanding, that they might understand the scriptures. 46 And said unto them, Thus is it written, and thus it behooved Christ to suffer, and to rise again from the dead the 3rd day. 47 And that repentance, and remission of sins should be preached in his name among all nations, beginning at Jerusalem. 48 Now ye are witnesses of these things. 49 And behold, I do send the promise of my Father upon you, But tarry ye in the city of Jerusalem, until ye be endued with power from on high. 50 Afterward he led them out into Bethany, and lifted up his hands, and blessed them. 51 And it came to pass, that as he blessed them, he departed from them, and was carried up into heaven. 52 And they worshipped him, and returned to Jerusalem with great joy. 53 And were continually in the temple, praising, and lauding God. Amen.